Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Over-Under on 1252 Sports. Welcome to Week 12 of the National Football League. Can you believe it? It's Week 12 already, Ray.
Week 12. Week 12. I felt like Tweety
Week
Bird.
12. Week 12.
I thought a putty tag.
I thought. I have no idea. Thanks for tuning in today on the Over-Under, where you're going to get the hottest picks on the National Football League games. And there's only really a couple of them that I actually like today, Ray.
Yeah, it's funny because as things start to get more defined out, teams start to show their true colors. Some teams are like surprising us a little bit. And so what may have seemed like action a couple of weeks ago doesn't seem as much. And what we may have thought was a lame duck a week or two ago or three, now all of a sudden may have some action. So it's kind of how the NFL season goes.
You remember the soap opera As the World Turns?
Yes.
It's how the NFL turns. From week to week, you can get – some people say, well, you got to ride the hot pick. It doesn't necessarily mean a team that's going to win necessarily covers.
Right.
It's who's got that momentum.
Yeah.
And you're looking for certain scenarios. A couple of weeks ago, I was like, get off the Green Bay Packer bandwagon. Still stay off of them. But I said they were going to win against Dallas at home. They were underdogs at home. Then the following week, they're going to get their ass handed to them. They did.
Right.
Look at Minnesota. They blew their nut against Buffalo Bills a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Then they came home and laid an egg against Dallas.
Yeah. And then they get back on a winning streak there in New Orleans.
Yep.
So
And then I gave everybody the New York Giants plus
Or
the points.
Thanksgiving, I mean, yeah,
on
but
Thanksgiving. And
Right.
then they're playing Dallas. I mean, the NFL, no friggin' logic is exactly what it means, especially in the world of gambling. Ray, got a couple of questions for you before we start bringing in our guest.
yeah. Okay.
Is it official that we're on the Deshaun Watson watch?
Yeah, I mean, he's been at practice. That's the thing we're going to see today. I wonder if we're going to see an inspired Cleveland team. You know, they're going to try to establish that run with Chubb. I always forget the other running back. Not Hill, but anyway.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they're going to try to establish that run. Jacoby Brissett's on a pitch count now because now Deshaun's getting some of those first team reps. Is this team going to play inspired? Do they think they
I
still
don't
have a
think
chance?
he's playing this week.
No, but he's playing next week against the Texans. But this week, the team here now, do they come in pumped up? They get the Bucks at
Is
home
he
there.
eligible, though, to play this week if he wanted to?
No, he's absolutely
He's definitely not eligible, but he is allowed to practice.
He's been practicing, right?
I think it would have been foolish for him to be able to come back against the Bucks anyway.
And I still want to know what's it like when all the guys go in the locker room after practice and, you know, inevitably they go into the trainer's room to get treatment. And there's at least a couple of guys that are on like the stretchers next to Deshaun. And they're like, do they joke about it? Do they look what's going on over here? Hey, does this thing have a happy ending? Check it out. Look at him. He's getting treatment.
The East meets West.
God bless.
If you're watching the show on any of the three platforms, make sure you do us a favor. Hit the like button. Take a moment, share it to someone else's page, including yourself. Let them know who we are. We are growing this totally organically. Today's show, you know what? My co-host, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray. My other co-host, Mr. Peter Blake's in the back room. We're going to go ahead and bring him on. And we have one of the two giant goofballs.
I love this guy.
That's nothing personal. And
What?
hopefully we have an appearance from Miss Sandra Nagel today.
Kid in every county.
That's right, a kid in every county. See, he can't do anything about it. He's sitting in the back room.
He looks good, though.
So, Peter's mother, if you are listening to the show, don't forget to go ahead and call in.
And my mother, happy birthday, Mom.
A happy birthday, Mom.
Today.
And for those of you that don't remember, we are taking phone calls live. Call 727-320-5866, 727-320-5866. Go ahead and post a comment. Give us a call. We may even read it live on the air to go ahead and change the narrative a little bit. Live from the Sports Web, Mr. Peter Blake. Hi, Peter. Michael, how you doing?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Yes, it is a thriller day here, week 12. Happy birthday to your mom, Ray, by the way. And of
Thank
course,
you.
I am the king of pop. So let's get this started.
Woo-hoo! Are you wearing one glove or two?
Just one today.
For those of you that do not know what that means, last week, if you missed it on the show, one Miss Sandra, who is Peter's mother, called and decided to share some very, very,
Happy dance.
very, very happy information about Peter
Well,
when he was young. He
I will
used to
be
do the
honest
Thriller dance with one glove. But
See,
Ray had the question,
You're right.
did he touch himself with the glove or not?
No, I did not. And at the
I think he's
time
lying.
when I was a kid,
not
I
touching
was
it.
about 8 years old.
Touching.
Everybody liked Michael Jackson.
He
We
was
used to buy
Deshaun in it.
records and stuff like that. We didn't have to download stuff. We just went out to Peaches and bought a record. So
Peaches, yes.
Peaches. And from one giant goofball, actually it's from two giant goofballs podcast, Mr. Andrew Davis. Andrew, how are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, folks. How's it going?
Oy vey, my fellow countrymen.
So, Peter, I just have one question.
sure.
Yes.
You were 8 years old. Did you perhaps stay at the Neverland Ranch as well, or is it?
Did not.
Oh!
Thank God for that, right?
How about new?
How about that? There you go.
Oh, God.
Jesus, juice.
Gentlemen, got a question for you. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's out there that's tuning in. A belated Thanksgiving. I trust that everybody had a really, really good Thanksgiving. The Greek had the traditional American Greek Thanksgiving. We had lamb on a spit with Greek potatoes and avgolemino soup.
Nice.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, we
I'm
did.
kidding. What was your favorite game over the weekend, Drew? I'm so over Thanksgiving.
I just want to forget this day ever happened, basically, as a Giant fan. But overall, the Lions and the Bills was a nice game. That was a fun game to watch.
How about you, Peter?
Yeah, I like the Lions and the Bills game. Of course, the Giants and Cowboys, I had a bet out there, and it didn't necessarily work out because instead of going under, it went over. Thanks a lot, Michael Parsons, for picking up that penalty. My wallet appreciates it.
Yep, it would have been very nice. A hell of a return. You would have gotten a little over 12-1 on your money, Pete. Believe it or not.
Wow.
We went 3 out of 4. The Greek went 3 out of 4 over Thursday.
Nice. Well,
Yep,
3.
There's 3 games, but I went 3 out of 4 because there's 3 games. You could have 6 total combinations. You could bet over, under,
All right.
the point spread, whatever.
Nice.
So this is the way it went: under, over Minnesota.
yeah, because I
My
mean,
game of the week was Minnesota and over 42. And right around the middle of the third quarter, we were doing this.
rocking chair.
Oh, yeah.
All the underdogs covered, though, right? I mean, didn't they? I mean, no,
should have
actually,
definitely bet on the Minnesota New England game because
New England didn't cover.
yeah,
what was New England? What was Minnesota favored by there?
2.5.
2.5.
Oh, New England lost by 7.
And the total
yeah.
was 42.
And how about
And you know how Harry says this?
yeah?
The heavens they open up, and God just bestowed upon us an easy game.
Yeah.
And
ever
I was the
like
one
that
who was
today?
making fun of the Houston game. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trap game. It's a trap game. Trap this. I mean,
Yeah.
the gods opened up the heavens and said, "Hey, dummy, why didn't you play Houston? I gave them to you." And I'm going, Lord, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I won't do it again.
Drew, the Giants, though. Come on. What was it? 8.5 or 9 points were the Cowboys
They
favored
covered
by?
too. They had
Yeah,
a
the
bad
Giants
8.5,
covered.
They lost by 8.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the thing. I don't understand how an offense struggles the whole game, and then eventually they get this urgency to score, at the end of the game, which basically ruins my bet altogether because the over-under was 45.5. I'm sitting there sweating, and as soon as Parsons picks up the penalty, I text the Greek there and
Peter
say,
calls me up. He's not texting. He calls me up. He's shaking like a horn church. He's
Yes.
like, oh no, this is a stupid penalty. I'm like, it's over, bro.
Yeah. He's
Okay,
going to get fined.
seriously, It's over.
He's going to lose some money for
Pardon
that
my
one, too.
expression if I offended anybody.
"Oh
He-
no,
Not me.
He
Not yet.
punched.
No.
He punched Nick Gates, the center.
I wanted to punch the whole
That's
Giants offense." at that point.
Nick Gates said he was basically goading him on the entire game, and he got him finally to punch him at the very end of the game.
And how much did I cost on that money? There,
Just about 560.
about $560. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
You know,
And
you could make that up
that's-
by performing as Michael Jackson, perhaps, if Harry the Greek wants to go ahead and
How about no?
Tell my
Keep it
mom she's
going.
watching right now. I'm going to kill her for sharing that story because you guys are never going to let it go. You guys
Nope.
Nope.
The gloved
Never.
one.
are
Never.
But seriously, what's your favorite Michael Jackson song? Go ahead and give us a call. What is it? What's the number there? 727-320-5866. It's 727-320-5866. It's the over-under here, week 12 on Sunday morning with yours truly, the king of pop. How about that?
The
Peter
king
is
of
taking
pop.
requests and dedications.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yes,
Why not?
welcome to the quiet storm.
Delilah.
Troy Palomalu says first, good morning, Mr. Troll. Thank you for actually Mr. Troy,
Yes,
not Mr.
Mr.
Troll, but he is.
That's,
a troll.
that's
a
it.
Freudian slip.
That was good. That was very good, right?
And
there.
Roger Shoe says, Yo,
Yo.
Roger, wait a minute. Hold on. You couldn't kill a fifth of Jim Beam last night? You're up this
Well,
early?
you dropped the ball.
What's happening? Christopher Cole says, good morning, everyone. Chris, thank you so much for tuning in. And say hello to Bandit. Oh, my God.
Oh.
Hey, Bandit. How are you?
No cats are restricted on this show. That's for sure.
Nope. Thank you.
There's a joke there, but I won't say it.
Troy Polamalu says, can't wait to see the Bucks lose.
Ooh.
That's would be an interesting one.
Fire
And
Nate.
Troy Polamalu says, hashtag fire Napier. Okay, what's that all about?
Oh, the coach of Florida, but the Florida almost pulled the upset there Friday night over the Seminoles. At least they kept it.
Almost, but almost
Only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and shit fights. The
Talk-
Seminoles suck too.
Talk about almost. How about the USF
whoa, whoa,
Bulls
whoa,
making
whoa,
a game
whoa,
against
whoa,
the
wait a
UCF?
Okay, hang on. Here comes
Wait,
the
he's gonna sing.
diatribe.
He's gonna
Ladies
sing.
and
Wait, he's
gentlemen,
he's gonna
Mr. Peter
sing.
Blake's diatribe. There you go.
Look, you're just another part of me. All right. The Seminoles 9-3 at this
Sí,
point have
puto.
been on a great run here, offensive, defensively. I tell you right now, they have one less loss. We were talking about them in the playoff conversation because they're in the ASCC championship
Wait a minute.
games. They
Hold on.
definitely
Did
played
you
well.
just say that you're talking about them? They should be in the playoff race
If
for
you-
the for the national championship.
No. He said the ACC.
Listen, if they got to the ACC championship and they had one or two less losses, because they have 3 losses, if they had one loss right now, we would be talking about them as one of the best teams in the country. They scored 45 points a game offensively. They've only given up 223 on defense. They've been a complete team. And the reason why is the progression of Jordan Travis at the end of the day. He needs to take less hits like Justin Fields, by the way, just saying.
One or two less losses. That's like saying, if the Vikings had 2 less losses, they'd be undefeated and the greatest team in all of
That's
football.
about as close as the Seminoles are ever going to get to the top 10 this year.
I'll tell you what.
Listen,
There's
I think
no
they're playing
doubt.
with a lot of confidence right now. They came into the game 16. It's always a rival game. You know how it works. I'm telling you right now, they've been playing a lot better. They started out 4-0, they lost 3 in a row, and then they've been playing good football.
They look
Yes,
good.
they
They look good against Walmart State. I know
They
that.
did Walmart State and Target.
They almost lost their ass against the Gators Friday night.
I know.
mean, it's
the
a
Gators who
rival-
stink.
It's a rival game, guys. You could say the same thing about UCF and USF last night. It's a rival game. You never know what's going to happen. So
That was
don't hold
great.
it against them.
If they had one extra play in each game this year, they probably have a winning record too.
Well, Pete, let's go. You talk about rival games, and that's why you got Michigan, Michigan
Petey.
State, Washington,
Yes.
Washington State. But the
Yes,
USF
but
Bulls.
by the way, Harry, my mom has a message for you.
Sure.
gosh.
That's what she has to say to you about your prediction of Ohio State beating Michigan, because clearly you
Oh.
missed McCarthy yesterday with his 3 touchdowns. Everybody said that kid couldn't throw deep. He was throwing dimes all over the place. In fact, he was actually living up to the name of Danny Dimes instead he was McCarthy at that point. And then on top of it, that run game had 10 yards the first half. At the end of the day, they had over 180 yards rushing.
I'll
over
tell
the-
you what, Michigan absolutely got that ass yesterday. They went
yeah,
after
they did.
Ohio State. They were hungrier.
And Ohio State gave up the Chiefs.
Absolutely hungry.
So I tell you
And
right now,
I'm offering anybody out there.
you owe my mom a dinner. She's
Hold
ready
on.
for dinner.
Hold on. I'm making an offer out there right now, and I will book this action. Timestamp it. I'm
Okay,
giving anybody 10-1 on their money
10-1 on their money.
if Michigan wins the national championship. Go ahead and hit me up, DM me, whatever you want. 10-1 on your money.
Does it go down in the DMs?
You can't do that.
Well, I wish we could, right?
I know.
Thanks a lot, Facebook and YouTube.
I know, really. But
it definitely
seriously,
goes down in the-
10-1 on your money if you think Michigan's going to win. And you know what? This platform's in a Big Ten area. Please donate your money to the Greek.
Well, I'm
because the
serious.
mind be a terrible thing.
I mean, does
I
this not listen? Does this not stack up a story here? I mean, Michigan loses to Georgia last year in disappointing fashion, one of the worst games of Jim Harbaugh's career. Does this not stack up a storyline here?
It wasn't one of the worst games of his career. It's just Georgia's that much better than the competition that's out there. I'm sorry. I'm
what
just
if
being honest.
What if I told you that this could be revenge factor by Michigan and they could beat Georgia this year simply
It could be.
because
Michigan had the revenge against Ohio State. They absolutely beat the brakes off of them
they
yesterday.
have better, listen, they have better quarterback play than last year. They have a better running game, and they have a defense that may not necessarily have the star power like they had last year, but it's better for them. It's a better overall team. What if I told you that 10-1 money may be a good bet by somebody that's a Michigan fan out there? Mom.
Without question.
Okay.
Without question. And for all you Tennessee lovers out there, how do you like me now?
No defense. No defense at all. None.
And
Absolutely.
no offense either. Trust me. They ran into a buzzsaw. When they went up against Georgia, it was all over with. That was like picking cherries at Aunt Mary's. Andrew, you're just kind of sitting there like Mickey the Dunce in the corner. What do you think of that game between Michigan and Ohio State?
I'll be honest, being from Jersey, we don't really watch college football that much.
Oh,
Not even
Oh,
Rutgers.
yeah, mic drop, baby. How about
Greg
you?
Schiano fan.
No Rutgers there. I tell you right now, not only a buzzsaw, but what about South Carolina yesterday? I know we talked some college football, but 2 straight big-time wins. Tennessee and Clemson. Who would have said that? Impressive.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. Back to the comments. Troy Polamalu says, can't wait to see the Bucks lose. Fire Napier. Troy Polamalu says, expect Chubb to run all over that Bucks defense. I'm going to get into that in a little while because he may not be far off.
Just like Walker
From that
did.
assessment.
Just like
Believe
Walker,
it or
yeah,
not.
just like the Seahawks did 2 weeks ago
Right.
there in Munich.
Let me tell you something. A little different between Seattle and
Well,
Cleveland
and then
in a
also
running game.
Kareem Hunt and Chubb.
Yeah.
It's a nice one
Yeah,
too,
Kareem.
but they're a one-dimensional team.
Let's and we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Right? This is one of the featured games that
Oh.
I really want to talk about today. Is this Buccaneer game?
Dare I say let's lead off with it? But no, let's save it. Let's keep it in
I'm
your.
gonna save it just
All
a
right.
little bit.
It'll be the
pants.
whole show if you lead up with it. I know better.
Let's be
I know
easy
this
on
works.
Deshaun for a minute. Let's talk about Jerry Jones.
Ooh.
Oh,
How about Dan Snyder?
Right. I honestly think what Deshaun Watson did was far worse than Jerry Jones with a picture supposedly being
All right, Troy.
1957.
Now you
He admitted it was him, by the way. He said it was him.
Now
Right,
Troy
said it was
pissed me off, guys. Look, he's got to rub it in. The Greeks didn't make it to the World Cup.
Oh,
Hasta diablo de Malaca.
Oh my God.
Okay. TJ Barber says, get to see this offensive line in person. Go Bucks. Good deal.
Yes.
Phil Koza. Good morning, Phil. How are you? I miss Ray's half shirt.
No.
Anybody want to see?
New.
Anybody want to see Ray in the pool again with the half shirt?
Not
on?
after-
New.
not after Thanksgiving
How
weekend.
about
Right? This has
you?
been a caloric
Tony
hell.
Williams, do you think Justin will play today? What's your thoughts on Trevor Siemian? Great question. No, I do not think Justin's going to field because they brought in Nathan Peterman off the practice squad yesterday. That is my own personal opinion. Usually you're not bringing someone in from the practice squad if you're going to start your starting quarterback.
God.
I think they're going to put him on the fence.
And of course, with them playing white now and sitting down Zach Wilson and the game being there in MetLife against those Jets, this makes this game maybe, talk about a trap game.
It's tough.
Maybe.
And Michael Jackson wannabe's mother, Miss Sandra Nagel. Good morning, gentlemen. How about Michigan? Hey, how about Michigan? Thanks,
That's
Sandra,
right.
for
How
tuning
about
in.
Michigan. Let me give it to her.
Troy Polamalu. Can't wait to see Georgia smack Michigan again. That's probably going to happen.
I don't know about
Roger Shue says, Peter, don't blasphemy QB1 Justin Fields. That's right.
Wait a minute. Hold on a sec. What am I saying that's wrong? I've said this through the whole outset that this organization has put him in harm's way, and sure enough, he's hurt. Furthermore, his style of play does not necessarily work in the NFL.
Oops.
Because I'm telling you right now, if he continues to take these kind of hits, so you have to develop an offense to protect him, which means you have to give him more weapons. You have to give him a better offensive line. What did I say that was wrong? Roger Shue. Go ahead.
I think the problem is you didn't sing it in the version of a Michael Jackson song. And if you had done that, your point would have come across much better. So try it again, Peter. Try it again, Peter.
Absolutely, because some of these people have the attention span of a gnat, including Mr. Roger Shue there right down the street. I told you before, Justin Fields is a tremendous quarterback. He could be the franchise quarterback of this organization, but he is set up to fail. And if you continue to run a quarterback over and over again, as fantastic as his rushing numbers are, he will not last. And sure enough, guess what?
Yes.
I'm right. There you go.
Yes, Peter, you're right.
Thank
Everybody, hail to the Peter.
you. Right. That's
Get
right.
it? Hail to the Peter.
That's it.
Hell to the no.
Hail to the no.
Hell to the no.
All right, guys, you know what time it is, don't you?
How about
Let's
you?
get-
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
Let's talk some football instead of
Yes.
Michael.
Ooh.
Sure.
Ooh.
How about the Bengals at the Titans? Running back Joe Mixon, concussion. He is out. Jamar Chase, hip. Joe Baki, knee. Daxton Hill. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on. Although still officially listed as questionable on Saturday, Chase, who was limited in practice all week, is reported not to play again for Week 12. Gentlemen, why are the Bengals a 1-point favorite at Tennessee? I'm going to start with you, Drew.
I mean, I think they're a favorite because they're the flashy team and because of the fact that, people are thinking Jamar Chase may be coming back this game. Personally, though, I like the Titans in this overall. I mean, people have kind of forgotten the last 2 weeks. Ryan Tannehill has come alive. And the main reason he has is because the offensive line is blocking a lot better. Their pressure percentage given up has actually dropped about 70 points the last 2 weeks. So you're looking at last 2 weeks, 255 yards for Tannehill 2 weeks ago. Last week, 333 yards. And Trey and Burks actually 111 yards receiving last week. So this offense is coming alive, and I got them an easy win here.
Peter, how about you?
Do you really?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with them on this. The reason why the Bengals are only a 1-point favorite, they're missing Joe Mixon, who's definitely been the heart and soul of this offense because he takes the pressure off of Joe Burrow, who's still been sacked a lot. Furthermore, this is a revenge game, so revenge factor, gentlemen. I like the Titans. They're getting healthy at the right time. And honestly, on this Bengal defense, who's going to stop King Henry? In my opinion, no one.
Wow. And I'll tell
How
you
about
what,
you, Ray?
well, it's a replay of last year's divisional round where the Titans are defeated by the Bengals. The Bengals advance to play those Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. But you take Mixon out of the mix. You got Derrick Henry seems to be on a bit of a charge. That Bengals defense, that secondary is going to try to keep the play action pass from developing. But being at the games in Tennessee,
Who's starting?
at
Is
quarterback.
it Tannehill or is it the rookie?
Oh,
No, it's
well,
Tannehill. It's Tannehill.
Tannehill.
Tannehill's back.
Are
this
we
week.
sure Tannehill's playing?
I got to
Yes,
be sure about this.
Absolutely
Yes.
sure he's playing, yes. He's playing.
Then I got to say that 1 point, that's a not a trap game, but they're enticing you to want to take the Bengals because of last year's experience. But
Listen, no Joe Mixon. I'm going to cut
Yeah.
everybody off. No Joe Mixon, no Jamar Chase. You got Tannehill, you got Derrick Henry, and hold on. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this. A much, much better defense than Cincinnati. Guys, how can you not be playing Tennessee in this game? Don't even take the point or the 1.5 that they're offering. Go ahead and put them on the money line. This is one of my picks of the week.
nice.
Absolutely. Make sure you
Nice.
take in Tennessee.
Okay.
Let's go to the next game. Anything in particular you want to talk about, or can I just bring them up one at a time?
I like,
guys?
like you said, this week there's some stinkers and there's some showboats. You want? Can I throw one in there?
Sure.
What do you guys? The Falcons at the Commanders.
God. What do you want to know about it?
We'll go into the NFC. Of course, they'll still be a half a game behind the Giants, with the Giants losing on Thanksgiving there, Drew. Now, all of a sudden, the Commanders, who just 3 weeks ago, now they got Chase Young coming back and that Ron Rivera defense, and the Falcons. I mean, are they going to play gritty, or do they still have something to play for? This game, it could have, it has the chance to be a pretty good game.
Well, don't answer this yet, because the Commanders will be down a couple of defensive starters, if you didn't know, as Holcomb was placed on the injured reserve with a foot injury. And St. Justy will be out with an ankle injury after not practicing all week. Thomas is questionable to play after not practicing on Friday, and he was also limited Wednesday and Thursday. The headline for this week, although for the Commanders, is the potential return of Young. That is a huge return if he comes back.
Wow.
And I hate to say this, he'll be on a pitch count, but dare I say that this Washington team is actually better than this Giants team because of the option of being able to pass the football and,
And
playing a better
Heineke,
defense.
if Carson
And
wins,
I want to go right to a Giants fan who's also a really damn good prognosticator. Do I have any merit in that? In that. Look at him; he's trying to push me over. Is there any merit to my comment there? I mean, could this team have the potential of actually being better than the Giants?
I mean, it's a much better roster than the Giants are. I'll say that hands down. I've said all along the Giants team this year is actually a worse roster than they were last year even. So, yeah, no, you're definitely right. And they have a good coach as well. Ron Rivera is obviously very well respected. So they're just getting hot because they finally put the right quarterback on the team.
It's all about the momentum and the quarterback. See, I lost somebody. Hold on. This is my friend Ray.
Sorry, I
How are
pushed
you?
the wrong person out of there.
Peter.
Yes, no,
What do you think?
You definitely like the momentum by the Washington Commanders right now. They're a direct reflection of their coach, Ron Rivera, getting the most out of this team. They started out 0-4, left for dead with all the ownership problems. They're playing great football right now, and the catalyst for that is the quarterback play in Taylor Heineke, who's far better than Carson Wentz and has been a big-time key to that offense. So that offense is getting healthier. And then on top of it, you talk about Chase Young. I like the Commanders in this game.
Okay. And no one even knows what the line is. The Commanders are 3.5-point favorites, and the total's 40.5. Now, for the Falcons, Jalen Dalton, he's doubtful. Tight end Felipe Franks, out. Doesn't say that. He says he's questionable, but I hear he's not playing. Is that a big loss for this Atlanta team? I don't think so.
It's Pitts in there, right? He had come up a little lame last week.
Pitt's got his bell rung.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still in a concussion protocol.
I thought Pitts was put on the IR, guys.
That's what I thought. That's what I had heard.
I mean, and yeah, if it is, but even Marcus Mariota doesn't go to his tight end, but you lose another receiving option. Cordero Patterson, I thought, also was injured on this team. And I feel like they're kind of trying to bet you to go over here. Do you go over or do you go under, in your opinion, Harry?
My brother Pete, thank you so much for bringing that up, because this, my friend, is one of the top picks of the week for you guys. Bet the over. Some of these sites are going to have it at 40 or 41.5. This game is not going to be as close as what people think. Let me tell you how many points are going to be scored in this game. The Atlanta Falcons will score between 17 and 21 points, and they're going to get blown out. This game will be over by the third quarter. Okay, definitely play that. If you like to if you want to dibble a little bit in parlays, take Washington and the over in there, but keep everything around the over on all your parlays today. Absolutely love the over in the Washington Atlanta game.
I like that. That's the way I saw it.
And I did confirm Pitts is on the IR so he's going for at least the next 4 weeks, MCL.
Yeah, and we also got somewhat of a celebrity in the house, guys. We got Nancy Nunez definitely tuning in. If you don't know who she is, she's Mama Nacho, because her son today is
Nacho Roches.
Oh, God bless.
Yes, she's been on the sports web before. So hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I tell you what,
Baby.
We've seen it with Nacho the last couple of years, Pete, but especially this year, especially when this team was early in the season trying to find their identity. There was many times that Nunez Roches, Nacho himself, was actually the identity of this defense, holding it all together.
Especially
love
when
the
Vita
fact
Vea
that
was
that
down.
veteran stepped up. Yeah, when Villa was out, and he was showing up and showing in, and I love it. So yes, thank you, Mama Nacho. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Got to root for that guy. I actually got the chance to meet him once. He came into a store I was working at, actually. Really nice guy.
Nice
Really?
guy. I tell you
Yeah.
right now, talking to Coach Desmond Walker, who's a pass rushing specialist over the years, his progression and development has been amazing.
Cool. We're going to move on to the next game, guys. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about it. One AFC team that does not get the credit that they deserve.
Who's
Just
that?
out of curiosity, Andrew, who do you think that AFC team is?
I'm going to think you're talking the Dolphins.
Absolutely. I mean,
Oh,
that's the
nice.
elephant in the room. I don't understand it. I mean, we were all
Defensively-
laughing a couple of years ago when we were on Tua Watch. You guys remember
Right.
this?
Yes.
Tua Watch. It's
Yes.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, plenty of red flags out there with injuries, and he didn't start out his great, NFL
and
career.
his injuries are still happening. I mean, I'm the one who said earlier in the year that this kid should never even play another down of football, even though he's playing lights out. I mean, you've got to really worry about CTE, but that's not where I'm bringing this to. Why aren't they talking about this Miami team in the likes of the very pedestrian-like Buffalo Bills?
Who they beat.
That's
Right.
true. How about the superpower Kansas City Chiefs? And you know what? Dare I say this? If they win, the New York Jets.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Why aren't we talking about these Miami Dolphins?
Defensively, they're very questionable. I mean, that's
Huh?
the thing. They can't stop the run. And if you can't stop the run in November, December, and January, you don't have a chance. I'm sorry. You have to stop the run. You have to run the ball. You have to play defense. And I don't think that the Dolphins have shown they can do that consistently. Furthermore, with the injury history of Tua, a lot of people are expecting him to get hurt eventually, which hurts this offense with the two wide receiving weapons on the outside. So I think that's the reason why they're not talking about them.
And
Because
I'm glad you brought that up, because if Tua goes down, hey man, there's nothing wrong with Teddy. Teddy can move this team. He's not just a game manager. He can run the
Teddy's
ball.
not gonna get you anywhere. I'm sorry.
But
He's-
with these two wide receivers, they can play. The question is how are they going to play on defense? That's the issue. And in today's game, you have the Texans. They got one injury. Stingley Jr.'s got a hamstring. He's out. But for the Dolphins, Mostert, he's doubtful. And Teddy Bridgewater's knee is questionable. So you're correct. If he goes out, then you're stuck with a guy with a bad knee right now, which is going to be Teddy Bridgewater. But here it is. On the Texans side, I think they benched Davis Mills.
They did.
Yeah. Disappointing
Okay.
this year. 11 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yep.
He's had a
He's-
disappointing year
he's-
from the first.
And I got to tell you, that's because they opened up this playbook for this young man. Next year, I think it's going to be a little bit of a different story. They need to surround him with a little bit more offense.
Well,
Long story short, minus 14, the total's 47.5. Ray, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I talked to my guy, Richard Rock, big Dolphins fan, but also a big Bucks fan. And the thing is, we made a joke, oh, Florida Super Bowl out there in 57. Wouldn't that be great? The Dolphins versus the Bucks. But Brian Flores had got this defense going in the right direction before he loses his job for whatever reason that happened for. We'll go ahead and prognosticate that later. Mike McDaniel comes in, and we thought it would take him at least a year or two to get that the zone blocking offensive lineman that he uses for that Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan / running scheme. But bring in Tyreek Hill, send him next to Jalen Waddle, and let Tua go crazy. You got Gesicki at tight end. And Pete, I know what you said about in the past them stopping the run, but they're 13th in the NFL overall and against the run. This defense, and then bury the lead. Their secondary, who's been facing injuries all year, maybe one of the, if not the best secondaries in the entire National Football League. So I think this Dolphins team is rolling, and I think that as long as Mike McDaniel keeps sporting those nice shoes on the sideline and keeps this team together, they are going to 100% be there in the Final Four on the AFC side.
Peter?
I think it's questionable. Again, the defense has shown that they can give up big time yardage on the ground. And yes, they are ranked 13th, but what did they do against Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears? What have they done against other teams? And yes, they did beat the Buffalo Bills, but to me, I feel like the Bills got something coming for them. And then on top of it, they do have a rookie coach. I mean, how many rookie coaches are able to get a team to the playoffs, let alone a Super Bowl? I understand what you're saying. Besides maybe a George Seifert with the San Francisco 49ers, but they had Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Let's not lose our minds on that. And I still think there is definitely some questions, especially with Tua and the injury history popping up again.
Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I got to give the Dolphins a lot of credit because you're right. The defense has been an issue. Some of their rankings may not be that bad, but they've been giving up a ton of points. But they went out and got Bradley Chubb midseason. So it was a great thing that they recognized the problem. They did what they could to fix it within season. I will say this real quick, too, about Davis Mills. You mentioned about him being surrounded by talent. Next year, he's going to be surrounded by less talent. He's going to be on the bench where he belongs. Keep in mind, the Texans are going to have the first overall pick in the draft. They're getting the QB.
You really think they're going to go quarterback in that draft?
Oh, yeah.
And that would be a shame because I really thought that young man could have been the franchise for this team for many, many years to come. He's not going to kill you with his arm. He's got good decision making. He's okay in the pocket. He's fairly mobile, and he can make every single throw. And that's what's so concerning. Now, if they do go quarterback, this now sets this team backwards 2 more years when you've already have an established quarterback and you got a ton of cap space, and I mean a ton of draft picks.
A ton.
Could you imagine if they let that first overall draft pick go?
To me, if Lovie Smith is still part of this team, I think you're building the defense, honestly, and you're getting weapons on the outside. I don't see them getting.
They have money, but Peter,
Nope.
they got money they can spend.
They don't want Lovie Smith. They don't want Lovie Smith. The team themselves don't want it. They're waiting for Josh McCown to become the head coach. I'm telling you right now. That's
what a terrible optic at the end of the day. You hire and fire Lovie Smith in the first year. Don't even give him more than 1 year to build this team. I mean, it would be just such a
actually just to let you know, and I know this from the backside for people that do know me, they're actually working on a long-term deal for Lovie Smith.
And also, guys,
they actually are working on a long-term deal.
Wow.
How many times do you see a team like the New York Jets who draft Sam Darnold high in the draft? They draft Zach Wilson high in the draft. They take these hits and misses or these big swings at these quarterbacks, and they call, and inevitably these quarterbacks do end up fizzling out. And some could say it's because they didn't get the chance to develop at this league at level because they were thrown into the fire too fast. But I've very remiss to think of in history of the NFL teams that threw away first-round quarterbacks that picked high. And I'm not saying Davis Mills is that, but
Sure.
Because the fact of the matter is they keep bringing in some stellar quarterbacks, but they still surround him with no talent. And like you said, Harry, give this Texans team a defense, all that cap space, they can go buy themselves a quarterback or develop Davis Mills for one more year. And now you may have a team that's fighting for the AFC South and a team that's getting themselves in contention. I'm just not a Trento for Vintage Verdi.
They're gritty. They're a gritty team.
It's Alex Brown, not Alex Brown. It's Alex Smith all over again, right? I mean, he's the number 1 overall pick over Aaron Rodgers. That's always going to be, he's always going to be linked with Rodgers. Rodgers played better, but why did Rodgers play better? Because of consistency with the Green Bay Packers, having the same offensive coordinator over and over again for all those years. Alex Smith had multiple offensive coordinators, and we've seen what it can do to some quarterbacks' development out there. It absolutely stunts it. So if you continue to do that and change an offensive coordinator and coaching staff, you're going to ruin this kid's development in the first place.
Yes,
so I
agree. I second that.
Listen, if you're going to draft a quarterback, you fire the entire coaching staff. You go with the Josh McCown as the new coach, and you start over new. Because if you're going and you're letting Lovie Smith draft a quarterback, and then you have the other quarterback on the roster, you're basically starting over 2-3 years again. I don't see that with Lovie Smith. I don't see it.
So I gotta say this real quick too as well. Remember last week, what did I say was going to happen with the Texans and the Commanders? What did I call?
Oh, without question, you were. That's when I said that the good Lord, that was Andrew Davis who said, "Play the
pick
game."
6.
And I tell you right now, to be fair, because I haven't necessarily been the most fairest to Daniel Jones, he's definitely a victim of this, Drew, because he's had multiple offensive coordinators and multiple systems. And the greatness or non-greatness.
Did you hear that Hell froze over and Sitting Bull stood up?
Jason Garrett.
He had the clapper.
Right.
They're about to kiss.
I mean, so you just start to think about it. I mean,
You guys are like going to make out on my show?
a lot of people say, those are excuses at the end of the day, but they really aren't. I mean, they do stunt quarterbacks' development. Look at Jameis Winston for all those years. I mean, he had multiple offensive coordinators, multiple systems.
He had more offensive coordinators than crab legs. It was crazy.
Christopher Cole's favorite Michael Jackson song with Peter Blake is "The Man in the Mirror."
How does that one, Peter? How does that one go?
I'm not going to sing it.
Andrew
Faubert says, "Morning, gents. Let's go Canada, eh?" Kevin D.
What's that all about?
Can boot. Can Tua outplay Patrick? You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because I think Tua, believe it or not, is a much more disciplined quarterback. I know he's a much more disciplined quarterback than a Patrick Mahomes.
Alabama versus Texas
I mean,
Tech.
it
right?
really
I tell
is.
you right now, the way that Mahomes freelances, but at the end of the day, guys, you have to give it up to him. I mean, I left him for dead. I thought the Chiefs were the last place team in the AFC West without a Tyreek Hill. That would be a perfect matchup. But
Who did the Greeks say that the
you
Chiefs
did.
were going
You
to
said
finish?
they would
Last
be
place.
fine.
No,
First
sir.
place.
Oh, first place.
First place,
First place.
by far.
Because they
Anyway, going back to that game, Peter, we have to come up with some picks. The Dolphins are 14-point favorites and 47. Drew,
I got the Dolphins over. I think it's not going to be anywhere near close at all.
you really think they're just going to crush the team completely?
Without Derek Stingley, who's going to cover these two receivers?
That's true. Peter?
Yeah, I think you got to go the under, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, if the Texans don't score, it's a blowout. It favors that. So wouldn't you go with the under on that?
Ray?
I tend to agree with Peter. I like the Dolphins plus the 14 to cover, and I also like
minus 14, but
minus.
that's okay.
Well, go, give them the
Right.
take it,
They're-
covering the
they're-
14,
I'll
They're
definitely
covering
take the
14.
plus 14.
and I think that Mike McDaniel will say we get up up to 27-3 because the Texans just can't score anything, and the Dolphins might just put it on cruise control, put some backups in there, and just cruise the game. So
The game's supposed to be 21 points. So therefore, you go to Texas. It's exactly where they're playing it. Go to Texas in this game. Do not bet this game, ladies and gentlemen. It's too good to be true. And when something's too good to be true, what is it?
usually not.
Okay, play the second half because I got a funny feeling that you're going to see a lot of conservative play by Miami in this game. I really do. For fear of injuries. How many times have you seen really, really big favorites? Philadelphia. How many times have you seen really big favorites? Buffalo.
True.
And then all of a sudden, because they're playing a really inferior team, or they think, and then they get their ass handed to them.
No freaking
Not-
logic.
But this is not going to happen. I'm not saying Houston's beating this team.
Right.
I'm just saying watch the first half. It could be tighter than what you think. And if you think Miami's just kind of playing with them a little bit, just smack the hell out of the second half. That's my advice.
I like
Stay
that
away
play.
from the game.
I like that
You just go to Texas on the game.
But you
That's
say
just
second
my-
half. Do you say like the Dolphins could get a lead and take the Texans to score more in the second half? The Texans,
Well, there's a line in the first half. There's a line in the second half. And there's a line for the game. And right now, the only line is the game in the first half because the first half hasn't played.
second half
Right.
comes at halftime.
So let's just say the game is 14-7 or 14-6 Miami.
okay.
Okay. And they're already winning by, say, 8 points. The second half may be Miami, might only be -3 or 4.
Okay, got you.
So why lay the 14 when you don't have to?
Take the second half once the
Right.
line comes out.
Right.
and-
Now, if Miami's winning 28-0,
right.
it'll probably, you remember this, ladies and gentlemen, it'll probably be a pick'em game, meaning in the second half, they think that they don't know who's going to score more points.
Texans could because Miami goes
Right.
conservative. Who
Because
knows?
now you stay away from the game. But
Got it.
I just don't see it happening that way. It's just my opinion. Just stay away from the game, guys. I mean, it's just be my honest
I
opinion.
mean, the
Just play
question for
second
the
half.
Texans at the end of the day was Damian Pierce. I mean, if he starts to run the ball, then there's big time questions again with the Dolphins stopping the run. That's what keeps them in the game. And whomever they're starting, who are they starting at quarterback today for the Texans?
Allen.
Andrew?
Allen. Remember, I think he was the quarterback for the Panthers a couple times, right?
Oh,
Am I
Kyle
right?
Allen. Yeah,
Yep.
you're right. You're
Oh,
exactly
Allen, Kyle Allen. I thought I said
Yeah.
Adam. I'm like Adam and
What is
Eve.
it? Adam?
Kyle Allen
Adam?
is
Adam
a
West.
kicker. Yeah, Adam West.
Adam
There-
West. Batman.
Batman.
Andrew.
The bullet boy, Robin.
What you mean, Robin?
What?
In the mirror.
What?
What?
What? Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
Everybody
We care.
cares about
We
this
care.
next games, ladies and gentlemen. It's
Here we
the
go.
Broncos at the Panthers.
Oh my God!
Oh my
Oh,
God!
man.
Who the hell cares?
Jerron Judy is set to miss another game with an ankle injury. He suffered a couple of weeks ago against the Titans. He did not practice all week, nor did Hamler, who was also ruled out with a hamstring injury. Safety Justin Simmons knee, nose tackle Mike Purcell ankle, and running back Latavius Murray, he's got a wrist. Linebacker Jonathan Cooper goes on and on and on. It's ridiculous. They're at the Panthers. The Panthers have a couple of injuries. Why is PJ Walker doubtful? I have no idea. I don't know who's playing quarterback.
Sam Darnold starting.
Sam
I was
Darnold.
Oh,
waiting-
you
I
were
was waiting
setting
for
me
you. I was
up?
setting you up, buddy.
Josh Rosen.
Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold.
He's the guy.
I see ghost. But listen, man, why are the Broncos 1-point favorites and the total's 36.5? 36.5. Oh my God. The heavens have opened up and they're saying, bet the over. No,
No.
you gotta bet under in this game
Yes.
because Denver can't score.
Denver can't
The
score.
Panthers still have a defense. Who the hell made the Broncos
Oh
a
my
1-point
God. Who
favorite?
the
A
hell?
1-point favorite in
Hey.
this game. I have a question. Is that because of Russell Wilson's playing quarterback? Has
Well-
anybody else seen the way this team is playing football? Andrew.
Yeah, I unfortunately I've seen it too many times to keep putting them on prime time. I wish they would stop that already. It's ridiculous. I mean, this team has got to
It's
be
painful.
one of the biggest disappointments in the NFL, right there with the Raiders. Ironically, they played last week, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they got two horrible offenses playing with two good defenses. So yeah, I'm with you. Bet the under. That's definitely the bet on this one, and I can't wait for the Panthers to win. I think they're going to win.
Yeah,
And I'm-
play them outright.
And I'm rooting very big for Steve Wilkes. I mean, after what happened to that man in Arizona and getting just one season and getting shown the door, I can't wait for him to hopefully do well the rest of the season and show some people what he could have done.
Man in the mirror.
Yeah, I go to El Paso on this. I pass on this game because, both teams, especially the Broncos, have been one of the most disappointing. The one person that probably had the Broncos winning is Sierra, and her goodies right now are definitely not working out for Russell Wilson and this Bronco team. A lot of high expectations at the end of the day, but they have been absolutely disappointing. So I'm going to El Paso on this game. Thank you.
What do you mean?
Oh my God. Who the hell
And
cares?
this segment's brought to you by
Love.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
just love it.
And we're bringing to you live
Hey, is there a glove on the other hand? I don't see his right
Nope,
hand. Hand
nope.
checked.
the Rolex reporter.
You don't want to see the right hand.
There he is.
Oh, yes.
And he's feeling like he can touch me.
So my observations on this game, anyway.
I hate
We had to go off the rails for a minute.
Just a
Yeah,
sec.
of course. You always go off the rails.
How about new?
How about just a little bit?
How about new?
Who do you like, Ray?
I like Sam Darnold. I like this Steve
Oh,
Wilkes
God.
defense. I'm gonna stay with it because I've mentioned it before. I did not like Baker Mayfield. I love the fact that the Carolina Panthers, no matter what they find, I think the reason why Denver's a 1 point over because now that they're starting their third quarterback of the season and not because the other two weren't available. I think the Vegas thinks that the Panthers might be playing for a draft pick, maybe not even taking this game as seriously. But Drew, I think, like you said already, the Steve Wilkes defense is not going to play that way. I like Sam Darnold to throw for 300 yards today and 2 touchdowns.
That
Wow.
doubles his career total.
And ladies and gentlemen, I got breaking news. One of the quickest goals of a sleep fest that I've been watching
Wow.
something called the World Cup with 2 minutes into the game.
Unbelievable.
Your Andrew Faubert's
Oh,
1-0. The Canadians.
Hey.
Hey, Canada.
Yeah, the team's a bunch of hosers, don't you know?
Hosers, eh?
Get Celine Dion on the line.
Well, listen, that's good. But what about
Shania Twain.
What about USA
Shania
versus
Twain.
Iran on Tuesday here?
You know he lives close to Regina.
Oh God! You know
He does.
what?
We're not going
That's
there
a,
on a
that's a
Sunday morning.
town in Canada.
How about new?
Listen,
Yeah, it's
listen,
definitely down south.
focus. USA
Focus.
versus Iran on Tuesday. Who do you like?
Buddy, let me tell you something. Right now, you take Iran, you're going to get 6-1 on your money, and I'm going to tell you something. That's not a bad bet. I'm just telling you. USA, they can't put something in the hole. I'm sorry.
Well,
and
listen,
Iran, they
were
have something to
supposed
play for.
They were supposed to get their doors blown off against England, and they, went to a draw, which is what I-
England went to a game plan that played not to lose.
That's exactly right.
And they're basically carrying the United States to try to get them by the next round. That's just me personally. Listen, I'm not trying to not be a homer here, and I know Iran is like the enemy, but let's just call it for what it is, guys. This Middle Eastern team can absolutely flat out fly. Did you see some of them players? Muhammad?
Well,
I'm not touching
They got
that.
four,
I'm not-
there's 4 players named Muhammad out there,
I'm
okay?
going El Paso.
They have
Good
4
call,
players
good
named
call.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
2 of them play in the Premier League.
these opinions don't represent 1252 Chicago sport.
Now, Peter, I have a very
If
important
anybody's
question.
not ever seen Mr. Panos, YouTube Mr. Panos, Panos, and you will get all your World Cup soccer tips.
He
Okay,
does know soccer.
he sure does.
You are so
Everybody
full of
after the
crap.
show, YouTube Mr.
How about
Panos
new?
and look for World Cup tips.
How about new?
Mr. Panos is a fellow Greek. He's going to tell you all
How
about
about
Messi
you?
and Muhammad.
Yeah,
and,
you haven't pulled him out since last season.
No, he hasn't, man.
Mr. Panos
It
is
has
good.
been.
Oh,
Anyway,
but-
-1 and 2, and the total's 36.5. I kind of like the under in this game, but I actually really like the Panthers plus the 1. Actually, put them on the money line. It's a very,
wow,
very good pick.
okay.
I do like the Panthers a lot in this game.
I'm
Ravens.
surprised you don't pass on this game because you never know. Russell Wilson is still somewhat pretty good, and I get
Oh
it.
yeah, he's
Panthers
great.
have
Looks
a-
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Spectacular. Yeah.
Wait,
He looks spectacular.
I mean,
Harry's a cat guy.
That is not nice, Andrew.
Drew had a question for me. Drew, what's your question?
Yeah, I did. It's a very important question for you.
Yes,
So
go ahead.
there's a rumor floating around the streets that Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just the girl who claims that I am the one, but the kid
Yes.
is not my son. I'm curious if you have
Kid
any
is-
thoughts on that.
Not my son.
Right to Peter Blake.
No kids in any cabinet at all. Thank you very much. That's a great song. You know, honestly, you look at
How
that.
does the rest of it go?
I'm not going.
And back to the comments. Christopher Cole says Winston to the Texans next year.
Honestly,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. Is Thriller the best album of all time with all the hits that they've had?
Are you
Seriously?
serious? We're going to talk about this?
I mean, you guys want to bring it up. You want to continually bring it up. So
if
it's
you
Thriller.
can bring up a medley of songs that are on there in song form.
I mean, you have Bad.
It
Okay,
almost sounds like Rick James
Yeah, it does. Ooh,
you
it is
have
Rick
Bad.
with
James.
the bangs.
well, that's good. That's really good. You have Bad. You have Thriller, and you have Billie Jean. I mean, what was better than those three?
And back to the comments as
Thank
Andrew's doing his little
I do
Little
want to
Peter
talk
impression.
AEW wrestling. Absolutely.
no,
Yes.
thank you. Roger Shoe. Pete is a Malakas, or wait,
Yes.
Malakas Jackson. There he goes.
How about new? Oh my
If anybody-
God! Who the hell cares?
Edward Gross. Hi, Ed.
Ed, what's up, brother?
Let's go, Bucks.
There you go. Hey man, a lot of Buck fans in Cleveland for this game today. I love it. I
Oh, sure, it's
love
on
getting there to the
Buck's side.
mistake by the lake.
Of course.
The mistake by the lake. The other mistake is Chicago. Actually, Gary. No, that Gary's the armpit.
Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana.
By the way, the
Gary.
Jacksons are from Gary, Indiana. Just saying.
That's
Another
really-
tie-in.
That's another tie-in.
He knows.
What was their hit
How's
song?
Bubbles?
Their first hit song. How does that go again?
How's Bubbles doing?
Oh, it's doing good, I guess. I don't
I've
know.
seen a picture of Bubbles in Pete's room.
Jesus. I don't have like posters on the
How do you
wall.
blow bubbles?
I just know useless information. Help carry the show around here.
Anyway, go
Please
back.
show us how you blow bubbles.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
This is like, you see what happens? Sandra, please call into the show. Dial 727-320-5866 and 727-320-5866. I'm your host, Harry the Greek. Thanks for tuning into the Over-Under on 1252 Sports. We got one Drew from one giant goofball because there's not two of them here. We got Mr. Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray, and Tampa Bay's very own, the Sports Web's Peter Blake.
Thank you.
We have the Ravens at the Jaguars. Gentlemen, you ready for this?
Yes.
Jaguars have no injuries. None. Zero. And I'll tell you what, the Ravens are kind of hurt. They're 3.5-point favorites. The total's 43 points. Does anybody give the Jaguars a chance in this game, or do they like the Ravens? Ray, you're first.
I like the Ravens. Even though the game's in Jacksonville, the Ravens are on a roll. They're getting ready for the postseason. So they're they're not. What's the line? What was it? Ravens are favored by what?
Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. So essentially they have to win by 4 or more if you like them. And it's 43 points is your over and under in this
If
game.
I have to take a position on this game, I'm going to take the Jaguars to cover the 3.5 points.
It's a very smart play, I think. I'm not going to let everybody know right now. I don't personally like this game. I'm going to put a small position on the over because I still think Jacksonville can put up some points. And I think Baltimore, even with the acquisition of one said great linebacker in Roquan Smith,
Yeah.
they're hurting in the corner position and their safeties. They're pretty well banged up back there.
Wow.
And I honestly think that the Jaguars are going to put up probably 24 to 27 points. In this game.
Okay.
I really do.
Trevor
So
Lawrence,
I
career day.
kind of like the over in this game. Peter?
Yeah, no, I agree with you on this. Excuse me. The back end of the Ravens at this point,
Is that
very
from Bubbles?
questionable.
Muhammad.
No. And Trevor Lawrence has definitely shown progression. At the end of the day, this offense is coming together. Look, if it was in Baltimore, you probably would say Baltimore with a blowout, but because it's in Jacksonville at the end of the day, I definitely think Jacksonville has a chance to make this game a little bit closer.
So do I. And Peter's talking about blowouts, and we're talking about bubbles.
Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a unanimous
What about-
decision. We all like the over.
Easy for you to say,
Did
right?
you say the over?
Andrew, hang on. Oh, that's right, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I can hang on.
Wow.
I can read Andrew's mind. Hold on, let me see.
Let's see.
Drew, come closer. I'm going to touch your cranium.
Lean to your left.
Get
Right,
it
right.
right.
Lean to your right.
I'm going farther away on purpose.
Oh.
Is there an adult in the room?
Oh
Andrew,
my
what do you
God,
like?
who
So-
the hell cares?
There's one stat I care
Bubbles
about.
does.
There's one stat I care about this whole game. The Jags are giving up 114 rating to tight ends this whole season, and we all know Lamar Jackson loves to throw to tight ends. So I got the Ravens an easy win here.
Ravens on an easy win.
Yep, they're going to beat the spread.
Okay.
Wow.
So do you like the over or the under?
I got the under personally just because it's two good defenses, but honestly, I wouldn't bet either way. I can see it go in either direction. That's an El Paso in that category.
El Paso.
Nice.
All right. On to the next game. The Chargers at the Cardinals. Do we even want to talk about the injuries in these games?
Well, Kyler Murray actually may play in this game. If he does play, the offense is different. We know that.
Williams is still dealing with that bothersome ankle injury and will not play Sunday after sitting out of practice all week. Adderley was a full participant in practice on Wednesday and Thursday, but Saturday out on Friday with a thumb injury. He is doubtful to play. Davis was limited in practice Thursday and Friday with a knee injury and is questionable. The headline for the week is the Cardinals have Kyler Murray will return to the field.
Can I just say I'm watching the in-season Hard Knocks. I finally started it yesterday, had some time, watched the 3 episodes. And we kind of prognosticated as to when the Cowboys bring in the other quarterback and Dak's out for like 8 weeks, but I've never seen an organization top to bottom, coaching staff, players, and everyone but DeAndre Hopkins, who didn't really say it, that was more relieved when Colt McCoy took the reins of this Cardinals team as of late.
I noticed that.
You notice that too. And I'm like, okay, Murray's coming back in. He's the guy that he's the rubber band man, can make magic happen, can run around, make an extended play for 45 seconds. But man, at the end of the day, I wonder what this Cardinals team would look like under Cliff Kingsbury if they had a Colt McCoy in there for the remainder of the season and possibly giving them a chance. But they've blown up in the NFC West. I think they're already going to be out of it. So this game's a wild card for me.
The line in the game, the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites on the road, and the total's 48.5. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you what that means. I love the Chargers in this game, but I'm not going to bet it. I'm going to tell you why. There's something called the 88% rule. It really, really holds true in college, and it does carry on into the National Football League as well. 88% of the time at game time, when the road team is exactly 2.5-point favorite, not 2 or 3, 2.5. 88% of the time, the home team covers, not only covers, but they win. Okay. What are we laughing at?
I'm getting a flex. Look at my eyes in the screen.
Oh, yeah. There you are. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, who
Like
the
the man in the
hell
mirror.
cares?
It looks like the man in the mirror. No, but seriously, 88% of the time,
Yes.
the home team will actually cover. I'm going to stay away from the game. I don't bet against stats like that, especially when I do like the Chargers.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know. A lot of people may find this to be an easy game, especially because Kyler Murray's starting to come back. It's his first game back. The Chargers do have a hell of a defense, but that 88% rule is telling me to run far away. Peter?
Wow.
Yeah, I remember the time where the Cardinals did play with Colt McCoy on Monday night, and they got their doors blown off 38-10. So at the end of the day, this offense is definitely different with Murray at the controls. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins is definitely as effective or more effective. I definitely like the Chargers and the over.
You serious? You like the Chargers and the over,
Yeah.
even though it's the 88% rule?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Drew?
I think the 4 horsemen are drawing nigh because Peter and I actually agree on this, the Chargers and the over. And one thing I want to say real quick, and give a little kudos to the Cardinals organization. I don't know how much you guys were following the news as far as the Sean Kugler incident there. So their assistant coach got accused of groping a hotel employee while in Mexico. They fired him immediately. It is about time the NFL and NFL team did right as far as taking care of men who are doing these kind of things, and they did it immediately. So kudos to them.
Yeah,
kudos. He
basically,
pulled the Warren Sapp.
Yeah, well,
Ooh.
basically the Cardinals told him to beat it.
Arizona, you understand?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my
Basically, the
God.
Cardinals told him to beat it. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, Remembered Time is also another Michael Jackson hit. So you guys, I'm just dropping jewels right now, and you guys are not even picking up on it.
Pete,
I
get
heard
your
you were-
back up off the wall.
Listen,
I heard it dropping jewels at 8
in the
years old
Timex
as well.
and the Boy George with Culture Club, time doesn't give me time. Remember,
Yes.
Do you really
time
want
doesn't
to
give
hurt
me
me?
time to beat it by Michael Jackson.
Do you really want to hurt me?
Where's Cyndi Lauper coming?
Wait, you want to hurt me? You want to come at me? You want to come at me?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Stay away from the game, ladies and gentlemen. 2.5-point favorites. Do not like it. Respect the 88% rule. Stay away from the game. If you do want to bet the game and you believe in the 88% rule, play the home team on the money line, which would be Arizona. I'm not playing it though.
Okay.
Ray, you got any opinion on that?
No, El Paso.
Are you going to Texas, Holmes?
See?
See? Yes! Another barn burner, guys.
I like this one.
Raiders at the Seahawks.
Oh, I hate
Oh,
this
God.
one. This is a bad one.
Raiders at the Seahawks.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
I mean,
guys,
isn't this pretty
have
easy?
the Raiders done enough to make people believers?
No.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
Done enough of what?
Let me finish.
Okay.
They're getting 4 points, guys. They're getting 4 points at Seattle.
Oof.
And the total's 47.5. Andrew, I'm going right to you.
So the Raiders 3 wins this year. Do you know who they're against? 2 against Denver, 1 against the Texans. They have issues when a team can score because they can't stop them, basically. So the Seahawks have been the top 5 offense this year. So I got the Seahawks. I think it's going to be an easy win. The one matchup I am really interested to watch, though, in this game,
the Raiders do.
I want to see Tariq Woolen versus Devontae Adams. I want to see how that matchup goes.
Well, that's what I was going to say is Tyreek Hill is going to have a day against this Seattle secondary. I truly
Hill.
believe they're depending on the Raiders stopping Walker.
Just to let you know.
Tyreek Hill.
Puff.
Devontae Adams.
Puff.
Devontae Adams, I mean. And I think that's what they're counting on, that Derek Carr, Devontae Adams connection to get started today. But it's in Seattle against the 12th man. Man, that makes it a wild card for me, Pete.
Petey?
I tell you right now who should be finished. Josh McDaniels and this coaching staff. The Raiders
Yes.
absolutely underachieved this year tremendously. And just because they beat another god-awful team in the Denver Broncos doesn't mean I'm jumping up and down and saying the Raiders have found themselves. They need to find themselves a new coach. Seattle's going to win this game and should win this game handily. Probably will be an up and down affair, but I like Seattle at home.
Ooh.
So a little note on the Josh McDaniels thing there. I don't know if you guys are aware of what happened fully with the Blake Martinez thing. So he signed on with the Raiders, had a couple of games he barely played, and then he played a full-time starting position at linebacker, got 11 tackles, and promptly retired. The man would prefer to sell Pokemon cards for a living. So that's what he's doing now. Then play for Josh McDaniels. That should tell you something.
Wow.
Yeah. Tells you everything you need to know about this team. I mean, they once again, for some reason, Devontae Adams in the first half is able to have 100 receiving yards, and then they forget about him in the second half, and they've done that in multiple games this year. It makes no sense. Look, if you're an offensive guru, you're living off the history of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Let's just put that out there, because most of the assistants that come out of that Bill Belichick tree are not successful, and Josh McDaniels is just following that game plan once again. He's going to be back on that Patriots staff. He should be back on that Patriots staff. More than likely, he won't, because Mark Davis is a terrible owner, but he should be fired by now.
Here's a good question for you guys. Did the Colts dodge a bullet when Josh McDaniels backed out of being a head coach?
Absolutely.
Without question.
Absolutely. And I don't even know why he's still getting coaching opportunities, because he did an awful job with the Denver Broncos.
Started out strong, but then didn't land it.
Terrible.
Tebow.
Terrible.
Anybody want an opinion?
Please.
Peter?
The Greek.
How about it, Ray? Give me
I'm
your
ready.
opinion first, and then I'm going to go ahead and drop it.
No,
next.
my opinion's the same. I kind of agree. And I think I'm good. I want to hear your opinion, Greek.
This is what makes the Greek, ladies and gentlemen. I always give you underdogs It's all about the momentum. You've heard the entire panel talk about how horrible this coaching staff was and how horrible certain scenarios are. These are still the Seattle Seahawks, led by one Geno Smith, who got their ass handed to him over in Germany. This is the real team that you're looking at. These are two bad football teams looking at each other. That's right. I said Seattle is a bad football team. Even if they made the playoffs, they go nowhere. It's a one and done. But I will tell you this. I give everybody an upset every single week. Not only do the Raiders cover, they win the game outright this week.
Wow.
There are certain matchups we do not have enough time in this program to go through it to even explain it to you. Trust me on this when I tell you. Put this team on the money line. Do not be afraid. And Devontae Adams does go off.
I was going to ask you because for me, the thing is, what's Devontae's stat line today? Do you think if you were doing fantasy football, do you think he goes for like
he gets a minimum of 5 catches? He goes for $150 and 2 TDs. I'm telling you.
By the way, you know, the distinct difference between Seattle and the Raiders at the end of the day is what Pete Carroll. I mean, what he's done with this Seattle team left for dead before the season without Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, being the most improved player in the NFL. And I got to say, who's going to stop Ken Walker? Because
great question.
The Raiders are a terrible defense.
Peter, I'm not discrediting anything anybody is saying on this panel, but I want to go back to last year, how everybody left Seattle completely for dead because Pete Carroll was what? Wait a minute. They're getting rid of who? Russell Wilson? Are you kidding me? Pete Carroll's the most predictable coach in football. The game's past him. You remember all these comments?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even the pundits on TV were talking about how Pete Carroll was done. It was predictable. On third down, they didn't go to their star wide receiver. They went to Tyler Lockett. They missed the running game. Listen to me when I tell you, this team is not as good as what people think. Josh McDaniels has figured it out. They beat a very poor team. But you know what? You can only play who they put in front of you week to week. And the Raiders didn't play horrible. Hold on. The Raiders didn't play horrible ball in the beginning part of the year. They started getting unlucky. And then the coaching went into the shitter for a little bit, pardon my expression. This team is getting ready to go on a run. They're not going anywhere, but it starts this week and they beat Seattle.
You lost me when you said Josh McDaniels has figured it out because I felt like this coach would get lost in a Walmart. And furthermore, yeah, the team has been unlucky, but let's say it for what it is. This defense is a dumpster fire. They've blown plenty of leads this year. And once again, it goes back to offensive play calling. How can you have Devontae Adams in the first half go off for 100 receiving yards and then basically forget about him? I get it. There's other adjustments and the other coaching staff is.
I'm glad you asked that.
But I'm thinking
they were double covering him with a man over the top.
You're an offensive play caller. You've got to figure out a way to get your playmakers the ball. If you can't do that, then you don't deserve to be a coach in this league. Period. That's Josh McDaniels. And when you say Josh McDaniels has figured it out, again, he hasn't figured it out. He hasn't been because he beat Denver. Denver's terrible. They're a dumpster fire too. It's all dumpster.
Again, they can't control who they're playing. Hold on. And this is the same Denver team, nothing personal. I'm not trying to put a little salt into the wound that you personally said was going to contend for the West. That they were going to be possibly the team to beat.
Okay. And that's
Jake,
right.
I'm going to call everybody out. Jacob, Fat Mike, and everybody else that come onto that program kept telling me that.
A lot of people thought that Russell Wilson was going to make a difference. But as I also said, it's going to be tough to go out and get a veteran quarterback and do what you did with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and follow that blueprint, because at the end of the day, you can't do it. Every team can't do it. Every team can't be the Bucs. Every team can't be the Rams with Matt Stafford. That's what Denver was picturing, and that's what a lot of pundits out there were thinking that the Denver Broncos were going to do.
Oh, and if Aaron Rodgers goes to do it, goes with Hackett to Denver instead of bringing in an entirely a Russell Wilson who doesn't belong in this offense that Hackett ran in Green Bay, but he has Aaron Rodgers. I think we're talking about a team that maybe isn't first or giving a battle there in the AFC West. But also when it comes back to the Chiefs and Josh McDaniel, just remember, it's McDaniel, not McDonald's. These rhymes are Daryl's, but those burgers.
Well, that's
Ronald, they're pretty good.
Harry, why do you want to be starting something with me this Sunday morning? Because there's national pundits out there that get paid far more money than I do, and they're still picking the Denver Broncos.
The way Pete stole that line back, he's a smooth criminal.
I know, smooth criminal. Edward Gross, a cup of Ray, Peter, the Greek, and Drew. Roger Shoe.
GG.
I've heard Pete sing Michael Jackson at work, and it ain't pretty.
You've never heard me sing.
Troy
Michael-
Polamalu says, "Sorry, Roger, we don't work with you at Waffle House."
Wait a minute, that's a good one. That is a good
Did you
one.
like
I
those scattered, smothered, and covered with a little Deshaun?
Oh, what?
Not Deshaun, Deshaun.
Oh,
Get it?
God.
Get it?
Oh,
Troy Williams
those
says, "Beat it. Just pick up a fork and eat it." We're out here.
I'll tell you right now, if you've not seen that movie Weird on Roku, the Roku channel, you're missing out. That is a great movie.
I'm still mad at Michael Jackson for stealing that song. I'm just saying.
You did it. See, you
The
get what I'm
Bugaloos.
saying. You watch the
We're in
movie.
the air and everywhere.
They're in
Funniest
the air,
stuff
the
ever. I
Bugaloos.
was laughing so hard. I think that I woke up some people here at the apartment complex in Holiday. Honestly, that was a great
Jason Swade says, "Hello, boys. Some breakfast options. I'll take 2 sides of the upper left where there's a side of Peter." Oh, God.
movie. Wow.
Oh. Want to be starting something?
Yes.
Wanna
No
be starting
chance.
something?
The guy in the upper left. That was,
Will you drop the
Oh, that's
ball?
you.
So that's going to
There we
be
go.
him right there. The guy in the upper left. Oh, hang on. Maybe we'll make him the upper left.
Oh, look at that.
ABCs and 1, 2, 3.
The guy in the upper left is my man.
That ain't me.
Man, the cup of Ray.
Right, rock.
All righty.
I want to rock with you.
Christopher Cole says, "Who does USF hire as a coach next year?" Great question. Ray.
John Gruden.
No,
John
can I,
Gruden?
can I take
Uh,
this?
I'm gonna can I give a guess?
Sure.
I'm gonna let you take it, but I'll tell you who I like.
Mhm.
Deion Sanders. Go for it.
Oof.
I agree with you on that, and you're a
What?
genius. Great minds
What?
think alike. It should be Deion Sanders. In fact, USF should back up the Brinks truck and get him in the fold because it's a perfect job. He's from Fort Myers. What he's done with Jackson State, 26-5. He can recruit in the state of Florida. And oh, by the way, revenge is best served on a cold dish at the end of the day. He could show Florida State, Florida, and Miami that they messed up by not hiring him in the first place. We've seen it. USF can be number 2 in the country. They can turn this thing around. They got to get a talented coach like Deion Sanders to recruit.
I have a question regarding that.
Yeah.
Does being that he's from the Fort Myers area and
Yes.
he does have a chance to go ahead and coach? Let's just say he does go to USF.
Sure.
Does that hurt the recruitment? Well, the University of Miami, nothing personal.
Yes.
They've always been a great organization when it comes to recruiting, but does it really hurt Florida State and Florida
Yes.
in regards of who they're going to be able to pick up? So more blue chip players are actually going to go to there.
Yes, it does. Because I tell you right now, Deion is not going to only recruit in Fort Myers. He's going to recruit across the state of Florida. And
Bell Glades,
Yes.
throughout Florida, throughout
Right.
Georgia, and the
Right.
Southeast.
because we know it's all about the U with the Miami Hurricanes. That's the
Yeah.
where they went to their power. That's how they recruited. That's how they became a
What's
national
your opinion,
power
Ray?
by recruiting.
Pete, I didn't buy into it. I thought it'd be great, but I didn't buy into a reason why they back up the Brinks truck, the reason why Deion would come here. But if you could get Deion to buy into the whole showing the rest of the state and recruiting here, showing him the blueprint that USF did use to do it to get up there. But I tell you what, this would one thing this would do. This would help this program get that stadium built.
Absolutely.
And
The
if
stadium's
that's what they're
gonna
trying to
give
do
you-
Where are they going to
right
put
now,
it?
on
Yeah.
campus.
You have the potential right now.
I say
You
they
have
put USF where the Rays play.
look, guys. You
Oof.
have all the potential in the world. You got a new
That'd be a
indoor
hell of a football
facility.
field.
You're coming off. You have a 1-10 season, but you have all the potential in the world. You're coming off not only possibly you got an indoor facility. You got a possible stadium situation. You can absolutely get people excited, and young athletes are going to want to come here and play for Deion Sanders because he has done it in the National Football League. They believe in him. I tell you right now, fans would absolutely believe in him. If he's talking,
He would load. There'd be a waiting list
happen.
for as long as he's coached.
That
He's
portal
not
would be
going
so
there.
crowded.
He's not
But
going
yeah,
there. I'm telling you right now.
I still don't think I still think you got a guy like John Gruden who he will not go back to the NFL and work as a offensive quality control coach, but he may look to go to a program that's in an area that he pretty much grew up here in Tampa Bay and
Nothing
possibly
personal, but I think John's a little too pompous to go back to the.
And
coaching
I tell you
level.
right now, what is
That's
John
just my
Gruden-
opinion.
he's
done.
to be a college quarterback, to be a
When-
college coach. Yeah,
when
it's-
he's done.
somebody,
a little
when
pompous,
somebody talks about John Gruden as a college coach,
because he never even liked rookie quarterbacks, let alone.
when has he
college
developed a
quarterbacks.
rookie quarterback? When has he ever
never did.
developed a young quarterback? He has never. So let me get this straight. You got John Gruden who said all these things in those emails, and he's coming into my living room to convince my kid to go to USF. And you think that's going to work out? Come on, man. That's not going to.
Well, Pete, the thing is, at the end of the day, now with the transfer portal, first of all, he'll never have to develop a quarterback because he can get someone to jump in the portal year in and year out if he gets the right staff to put an offensive in play. And then
Just like
second
the
of
man-
all,
just like
not
the man
gonna
in the mirror.
work.
well,
That's
second
not-
of all, it's a name, image, and likeness. If your guys are going to come here and they're going to get paid because they're part of a growing program in this country, I'm not saying this should happen. I'm just saying I see an avenue where if it did happen, I'd look at it and I'd go, huh, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. But I think I give that more of a shot than the unlikelihood that Deion Sanders becomes. I think what he's got going there with the historically black college and university in Jackson State and a warm and fuzzy, I think the next time he jumps, it's going to be to the program he wants to get, like an FSU. If they, buried it back the Brinks truck up in a year or two and they say, look, Deion, we're doing good. Norvell's looking good. We're all right, but we want you to come in here and close the deal. I don't know if Deion moves to a USF and gets rid of all that HBCU warm and fuzzy and tries to come here.
Yes,
Why not?
he
Because
does.
I could see if he were
He
at
does.
a big time school and he was, trying to renegotiate a contract, but he is at Jackson State. And this is the reason why he's at Jackson State, to show himself. 26-5 right now, a main recruiter. And he can go to a program that's in the AAC. And oh, by the way, gentlemen, they're going to have some expansion here because if they start winning, then the ACC is going to take a look at them and they're going to be in a major conference. And guess what? If you have one loss and you're in the ACC championship and with playoff expansion, the
Playoffs.
sky is the limit.
Playoffs.
It's
Drew
a
got that one out.
hotbed of opportunity. Not only that, he's a Florida guy. He's from
Fort Myers, you're right.
great. There's no taxes. I mean, there's so many things that check off the boxes at the end of the day. You got to get them. You got to go and get them.
I'm
Drew
saying it right
sounded-
now. I think he goes to Colorado. They've already offered him the job. They will pay whatever they have to pay to get him.
Colorado, though? That
Colorado
thing-
has offered him the job.
Yeah,
Here's
but
the thing
Drew-
with him. He wants
Now-
Deion has a huge ego. We all know that. And that's
Yeah.
fine. He was a great player. But the best way for somebody in an ego to put themselves in a situation is go to a job without huge expectations. Same as he did with this job. The expectations are low, and he can go ahead and exceed them very easily. He just wants to succeed. That's what he's about.
Plus, being there in the West, that, worst case scenario, if you don't have the success immediately, the games are on at 10 o'clock at night most of the time anyway. But yeah, I mean, or if you do bring them up or elevate them to an upper echelon, then all of a sudden those 10 o'clock games are still being watched by most of the country because it's Deion in a Division I program. So I could see that too.
I still
I don't want to
believe
beat it to
USF is
death.
more attractive
Okay.
than Colorado.
This narrative, we're done beating it.
Yeah, prime time.
We're done beating it.
Prime time.
Beat it! Beat it!
Oh, God.
Yeah! What?
Troy Polamalu says Peter Mom said, come into the house. He still has yams and collard green leftovers.
We definitely have yams. We definitely have some yam leftovers, and we also have some homemade macaroni cheese. And guess what, Troy? You're not going to get any.
How about you?
The
Christopher Cole
macaroni was
says, or
homemade.
did they hire a new
Oh,
AD?
absolutely. Of course, it's homemade macaroni and cheese.
Is that USF? Hire a new AD and athletic director?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Troy Polamalu says USF will hire Urban Meyer. Not a bad pickup.
How about
No,
you?
they won't. Urban
Troy
Meyer,
Polamalu says USF, University of not South Florida. That's right. Technically, he's correct.
We're
Can
more
we
south
hire-
than
listen,
And
guys.
Gruden is innocent. I agree.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Edward Gross says Vita Vea is gonna pay
for
Fox.
it.
He's gonna. He means he's gonna play. Fox reporting it.
nice.
Edward Gross says play.
There you
Edward
go.
Gross says Vea is gonna play. Fox Sports reported it.
Got you, brother. Thank you,
There
Ed.
you go.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate the update there.
He's a good cat.
All right, so we talked about the Raiders and the Seahawks. Now on to the next game. The Rams at the Kansas City Chiefs. Matthew Stafford's got a concussion. That's all I got to say. The Rams have yet to announce a starting quarterback for Sunday. It's either going to be John Wolford, could make his second start of the year in Stafford's absence, but reports say that Bryce Perkins could be the choice.
Mhm.
Guys, the Rams are 15.5-point underdogs in this game at Kansas City. And you ready for this? The total is 42 points. Ray,
Jesus.
take this.
I'm taking the Rams to cover, and I'm taking the over in this game right there. That's my only two picks on that deal.
Peter?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the over. Although, for me, Perkins is a rookie quarterback. He could cause some havoc. He's definitely got some mobility. And plus, the Chiefs haven't seen him on film. So there may be some points scored in this game. But you got to like Kansas City in this game, right?
Absolutely.
What, by 15?
And our fourth round draft pick himself, Mr. Andrew?
Wow, 4th round.
You're moving up in the ranks.
That's
You
a
were-
punter.
you were an unrestricted free
That's a
agent.
punter,
earlier.
Drew.
Yeah.
That's Jake Camarda,
It's
fourth
just
round.
because I mentioned Tariq Woolen, the amazing 4th round pick from the Seahawks this year. So yeah, I think the Rams definitely win this easily. I don't think they beat the spread, though. I do have the Rams for the spread. And I'm with you guys on the over because you got 30 points a game being scored by the by the Chiefs on a consistent basis. So the Rams just got to do just a little bit at that point.
He
to
meant
get
Chiefs,
there.
though.
He meant the Chiefs,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen. He's not actually saying that he
Rams.
thinks the Rams are going to
And
win.
with
the
Seattle,
game.
don't forget Kobe Bryant too, not the basketball player, but the player that's playing well for the Seattle Seahawks.
I
Yeah,
love the
Chiefs
over
to
in this
win,
game.
Rams
The
to beat the
total's
spread.
42 points. I think the Rams are going to really struggle. I don't care who's playing quarterback. I think the Chiefs defense is actually going to wake up and actually gets a pick six in this game.
Oh, but I still
Ooh.
think Aaron Donald's not going to. I mean, hey,
over 42. The Greek is giving it to you.
and isn't the MO for Andy Reid to just let the guys go off? So yeah, maybe KC could score 67 points like they're playing Bunk State or something. But at some point, Raheem Morris and that defense are going to kind of bow up and say, all right, even if we got to slow this game down, let's slow this game down.
But they let Andy Dalton get 3 touchdowns last week. That just
Talking about Andy Dalton. That's our next game. The 49ers are 9-point favorites. The total is 43. The New Orleans Saints are at the 49ers. The Saints have several notable names on their final injury report. Go figure. They will be down a couple of contributors on defense, Turner and Werner. Get it? Turner and Werner. And then Davenport, Jordan, and Lattimore are also questionable to play. All 3 were limited participants in practice all week. However, Jordan actually just missed his first game in 12 years due to last week. Offensively, Pete and Ingram are questionable to play after being limited in participants all week. Now, for San Francisco, Armstead was listed as doubtful due to the twin injuries that he kept him out since week 4. Big surprise. Let me tell you something. San Francisco's been hurting on that defensive line. They're 9.5-point favorites at home. Do the Saints cover this game? Do you like the over? Do you like the under? I don't know. I'm telling you guys right now, I don't care what opinion you have. The Greek's telling you to go to Texas, which means
El Paso.
that's right, El Paso. Andrew, what do you like?
I got to let you guys know, too, as well. My phone obviously listens to our recordings, and TripAdvisor started telling me, are you visiting El Paso soon? Because of the show.
El
So,
Paso. Okay, Google.
I got the Niners, though, and I got them to win pretty easily. I think it's going to be the over on the points. I think the big issue is the Saints can't stop the run. They're giving up 4.6 yards per carry, and they got Elijah Mitchell, CMC, and Debo coming to town. 5.7
Well,
yards
Debo
per
is
carry
actually
last
out
year.
this game. Debo's out.
Peter.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Drew on this. I think hell is freezing over. I like San Francisco and the over because specifically they can't stop the run, so you should get a pretty good dose of Christian McCaffrey today.
Ray?
First thing I thought, I like San Fran and I like the under, which is weird. It's a low
No,
under.
don't be weird. Bet the under, one of the top picks of the week in this game, 43.5. Even with a banged up Saints defense. Look, New Orleans is not going to be able to move the ball that well, even with a banged up Frisco's defense. But New Orleans does come out to play. They are going to try to run the ball to try to keep the ball away from the passing game. That little extension of that zone blocking that San Francisco likes to put through there. But I do like the under. It's going to be a real tight one, but I do like the
Well,
under
don't
in this
forget,
game.
guys, teams are built to beat teams in their division. That's how divisional team. I want to be face in for this take. Teams are built to beat other teams in their division. This Saints team and Dennis Allen, of course, Bucs fans, we've seen it over and over again. They're built to beat this Buccaneers team. And this Buccaneers offense is something similar to what McVay runs there or not McVay, but what Kyle Shanahan runs there with the Niners, using the running game, passing, play action to set it up. Debo's out this week, so I think that this Saints defense will keep it close, but they're not going to be able to score against this Niners defense. Okay, that's it.
On to the next game, gentlemen. Packers at the Eagles. The Eagles injury report is 0.
God, I hate that. I hate
0.
them. I hate the Eagles.
Aaron Rodgers won't have Dobbs to throw to on Sunday as the wideout did not practice all week with an ankle injury. Campbell was limited participant in practice on Friday, but still doubtful to play. And, of course, Bakhtiari was limited participant on Thursday and Friday and is questionable to play. Dun, 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 dun.
Green Bay sucks.
There you go. 6 and 6.5 point underdogs, ladies and gentlemen. The total's 43.5. Peter, we're going to start with you.
I don't know how to pick this game, to tell you the truth, honestly. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay. This is a must-win game for them to stay in check with the Minnesota Vikings. Philly has no injuries, but lately they have been not the best. I think I'm going to go to El Paso on it.
Very pedestrian. Andrew?
So I called the first loss of the year for the Eagles. I'm calling the second one as well. The Packers, I have winning this game, and I have them winning it outright. The big thing is that they've seen the tape properly and realized the way to beat them is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Packers, when they're rushing for 199 yards plus, are 3-1. All of their losses except for one, they've rushed under 115 yards. Run
Ladies
the ball.
and gentlemen, that is not your screen. That is Andrew Davis smoking the crack pipe.
Look at that
There you
guy.
go.
That's our fourth round pick. The fourth
There
rounder,
you
Andrew
go.
Davis.
Tampa
This
Bay
game.
Ray. Who do you like here?
I wish Rashawn Gary, the defensive lineman for the Packers, former Michigan player, Michigan drop. I wish he wasn't injured. I wish Bakhtari wasn't possibly going to have a problem this game, because I still think that, Gerald McCoy and Joseph Linval and it's in Philadelphia. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to El Paso, but Drew, if the Packers can, and I like the Packers in this game initially till I broke down the injuries, and as the Greek just pointed out, but if the Packers do go in there to Philly and beat the Philadelphia Eagles, this is going to probably be my game of the year so far to date.
Wow, that's pretty strong words there. Greek's going to tell you to play the over in this game. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than what people are giving credit for. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to sling this ball, because I'm going to tell you right now, Philadelphia is going to be trying to go after it. They know they're going to have to run the football. You are absolutely correct. In order to win this game, you're going to run, but don't be too surprised. You're going to see a lot of passing yards in this game. Philadelphia is going to have to get a little better play out of their quarterback. Their young quarterback is not throwing the ball very well, and he's looking very pedestrian around the center. He is absolutely his first read, and then his eyes are already starting to drop down. He's already starting to run. And that's usually a team that is regressing, not becoming aggressive enough. And there is problems in Philadelphia right now. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the National Football League, but they're only going to be as good as this quarterback's going to take them. And if they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, it'll be bye-bye quarterback, because they will buy one, because this team is due to win.
I'll tell you what, though, the way the lack of confidence I have in Green Bay being able to find a running game and being able to control the clock, this is the kind of game and I can see that happening here. As ugly as this could be, the Eagles are going to get the ball back so often with turnovers and punts that Jalen Hurts could probably throw 2 INTs and have a fumble in this game and still get off, because I think that the Eagles are going to control the clock, probably have the ball for 48 minutes of a 60-minute game.
With or without Deshaun Watson?
You shut up on Deshaun Watson.
No, Deshaun watching.
Deshaun.
With or without Deshaun watching?
Either way, it's not a happy ending
Okay.
for the Packers.
That's true. No, but seriously, guys, I like the over in this game. We got a couple more games we got to talk about, but
by the way, it's Ndamukong Suh.
What did I say?
You said Gerald McCoy.
Jesus Christ.
Wrong
No,
button.
I'm off today. Well, I was guys. Let me finish with the
And Linval Joseph. That's how
Linval
bad
Joseph
the
is
loss
there.
was. They got both of them. They got Sue and Joseph, because
But not
they
Gerald
realized
McCoy.
They showed an issue.
the other 93.
And they actually stopped the run last week against the Colts, which worked out. But totally different players.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I was gonna say my head's a little out today, guys. I drove my son down.
Man in the mirror.
I drove my son down to. Well, I was in Sarasota. I drove him down just south of the outlet mall there, Ellington, because he went down there for a friend of his birthday party they went to a paintball place called High Tech Paint. But I dropped my son's off. He's got 4 16-year-old friends. They're a little group. They're playing till 3. The next 2 trucks that pull him behind me.
Turbo.
The 2 trucks that pull him behind me, they got Georgia plates on, and the guys getting out have special armed forces tattoos. And I'm like, my kid's going to go up against armed forces. It's just free for all, capture the flag all day. So if I'm saying Gerald McCoy instead of talking about Ndamukong Suh, you guys know.
Steelers.
Hold on, I got a phone call real quick. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Yes.
Oh.
And you know how Michael Jackson is the greatest of all time? Because he did it with another greatest of all time, and Michael Jordan, with his video jam. Just saying.
Oh,
thank you.
God.
He did.
2 MJs.
Yes. Was that not good? Was that not? I mean, come on, seriously.
That was good.
Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. I mean, LeBron James. He did a video with Drake. Who gives a damn? Drake and LeBron James compared to Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan. Come on.
Oh, that's definitely. I take that Quinella, Jordan and Jackson.
I
yeah,
like that exacta
over LeBron and anybody.
How about the Steelers? at the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh
Ladies
my
and gentlemen,
God, can we
hold on. You ready?
And that's your Sunday night game or
How
Monday
about
night?
Indianapolis is a 2.5-point favorite in this game, and the total's 39. Let me repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. The Indianapolis Colts are 2.5-point favorites in this game. Andrew, give me a reason to bet this game.
I wish I could, but I mean, the one thing I'm going to say is I'm going to follow the Harry the Rick rule here on the over/under. I have it. What do you have it at right now? I had it 39.5 last time I looked. Where's it at?
Oh,
now?
it's at 39. But if you have 39.5, it's 39.5.
I'm taking the under at that point there because, like you said, if it's under 40.
Yep, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Peter.
Yeah, I'm going to go to El Paso on it, but if you're going to do something, you probably bet the under on it because both teams right now struggling to find their identity. One has a rookie quarterback, the other has a rookie coach, although they've shown signs of life. Give Jeff Saturday and this Colts team credit. They have shown some signs of life, beating, by the way, your team, the Raiders, with Josh McDaniels and his Walmart coaching ways, and, of course, giving Philadelphia everything they could handle.
And as Andrew was, can you stretch like that again?
I got a bad back, okay?
It looks like Deshaun's on
Nice.
her
Little guns.
Enough with
those
Deshaun
guns.
Watson. Enough with your talk.
Which way is the beach? It's
Shut
both
up.
ways.
Oh, God.
Nice.
Oh,
Did Andrew say he goes both ways?
Yeah, he
No,
does.
I did not.
Look there. Look at that.
He goes both ways with the man in the mirror
Look at that. I got
One
your
thing
hand in the mirror.
with
One
bubbles.
One thing in this game here, another Jersey boy, Kenny Pickett, we should keep an eye on because he's been playing better the last couple of weeks there. So, he went from a 71.8 rating over the year to 79.7 to 85.9 last week. So still
Y'all
not
are
playing
killing
great,
me.
but getting better.
It's
Getting
a
better.
shame. It's a
Let's
shame the
move
Colts.
on.
I know his hands are really tiny and they
Yeah.
fit in the same glove that Peter used as a child, but I mean,
If you're a sick, degenerate gambler like someone that I know, you bet the under in the game.
Yeah. enough
Under
said.
39. I really don't like the game. Well, we only got a couple of games left to talk
I'm
about.
the sixth degenerate gambler. Really? Me?
Whoa, wait. Whoa, I thought
Listen,
you were talking
Peter.
about Roger Shoe.
I'm talking about Roger. That's what I was
the
talking
first
about.
step
Roger.
is admitting you have a problem, Peter. The first step is admitting you have a problem.
Yep.
That's the
How about
ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of it.
Tampa Bay
I think I
Buccaneers
guess-
are at the Cleveland Browns. Fournette was ruled out on Saturday afternoon after being listed as doubtful despite limited practice throughout the week. Vita Vea was limited on Friday for after not practicing on Wednesday and Thursday. However, he is expected to play.
Christopher Cole.
For the Browns, Newsome is the only Brown that was given a game designation this week. Tight end David Njoku, he's got a knee and an ankle. And offensive guard Wyatt Teller Calf were never full participants in practice, but they will suit up Sunday and more than likely will play. Tampa's on the road. Are they deserving to be a 3.5-point favorite? And get this, the over and under is 42. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you why in just a little bit. Peter, go ahead.
Well, you never can say goodbye, but say goodbye to Leonard Fournette and his starting job because Rashard White is going to get the nod today, and he rushed for over 100 yards versus Seattle. There was definitely a game plan afoot by this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. I like the matchup. I like Tampa Bay to win this game.
Now I see why the Giovanni Bernard coming back was such a big news story the last couple of weeks because they probably foresaw this is going to end up being by the end of the year, unless Fournette lines back up, gets healthy, and gets back in tune with this team, it's going to end up being Giovanni and subbing for White most of the, and we'll see more Keyshawn Vaughn.
I don't know if you're going to see too much of Keyshawn Vine. Andrew?
So I'll say there's two keys to the game here. I think the Bucs first need to blitz a little bit less than they typically do. Jacoby Brissett overthinks if you give the man time, and he's actually got a triple-digit passer rating against the blitz this year. So go a little bit less on the blitz, give him that time to make those mistakes, as weird as that sounds to do. The second thing is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They're an okay team against the pass. They are a bottom-level team against the run. So we're going to find out if White's the real deal this week or not.
So who do you like in the game?
I got the Bucs to win. I got the under on the points.
Oh,
Okay, Peter.
Yeah, I like the Bucs to win, and I also like the under on this.
Ray.
I think it's the same recipe as it was against the Seahawks. Limit the amount of opportunities for the offense to find itself by our offense controlling the clock, and then that defense will have a chance to pin their ears with a lead. So I like the Bucs, but I like the over.
And on top of it, the weather situation there, you got to watch it in November and December when those winds start to kick up. They really determine the passing game, which means it puts more of an emphasis on the running game. Who's going to run the ball better? And then on top of it, we know the Bucks and what they can do against the run. That's why I like the Bucks in this game, to run the ball for over 100 yards.
Very, very, very good observation. I think both teams are going to be able to run the ball, but get this, Ray. I think both teams are going to be able to pass the ball in this game.
Yes.
Because I'm going to tell you what, everybody in this game, I mean, look, Cleveland doesn't know how to game plan against this Tampa team. Are they going to run it or are they going to pass? Are they going to run it? They're going to pass. They're going to pass the ball even more times than they're going to run the ball in this game, unfortunately, Tampa fans, because you're going to have to find out exactly where these wide receiver skill set is with Tom Brady after coming off some of those injuries, okay? The offensive line is going to continue to ascend. They're going to get a little bit better. On the defensive side for Cleveland, they're stout, man. They can stop the run and they can get after the passer. And you know what? They can get after the passer with a four-man rush. On the other side of the ball for Tampa Bay with their defense, unfortunately, they have to blitz all the time because that's just in their DNA.
Except, before you finish, now I don't want to cut you off, but I think what Drew was saying is the Bucs defense not going to play prevent, because that's what prevent is if you're trying to give Jacoby enough time to read a defense and not play aggressively with the blitz. But don't forget when I said that you use the same recipe as they used against the Seahawks and one Geno Smith, you have Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, you got Carl Nassib, you got some of your exterior defensive linemen dropping back, allowing other linemen to come in at different angles. You keep a quarterback confused and not knowing where it's coming from, but by dropping the other defensive lineman into the short field, you keep Jacoby and them checkdowns, and you also keep him on edge. So I think that's the same recipe as it was against the Seahawks in beating those Browns today.
Andrew, how many points did the Bucs score in this game?
Oh, I'd say 21. Nothing
Ray,
crazy.
how many points did the Bucs score today?
27.
27. Peter, how many points did the Bucs score in this game?
24.
24. I have the Browns scoring a minimum of 22 points in this game.
Wow.
Bet the over, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
This game's going to go over, and I think the Bucs make a small cover in this game.
The problem for
Nice.
me is the weather conditions. What are the weather conditions during game time? Because I heard there's high winds and lots of rain. That is, to me, sloppiness.
It's going to be a lot of slop, and that's why you're supposed to bet the under. Don't bet the over in this game. There's going to be a lot of defensive players falling down. Vita Vea has already been cleared to play. You have crappy conditions like this, he's going to be on a pitch count. Trust me on this one, I tell you. They're not going to run at Akeem Hicks. They're going to go the opposite direction. Cleveland will go off for a $150 on the ground.
Let me tell you this, Peter, great point you bring up. Hourly forecast for Cleveland at 12 p.m., 60% chance of rain and 53. At 1 p.m., 80% chance of rain and 55. At 2 p.m., 30% chance of rain
It's going to
and
be
57.
a lot
of wind
there's
early
gonna-
on.
And
It's
it's
not
gonna
just
be-
wind. You're going to see a lot of big plays in this game.
Oh, I love it.
A lot of big plays.
Takes me back to Keenan McCardle when he was a wide receiver for those Cleveland Browns. Of course, Testaverde was a quarterback, but then McCardle would come here a couple of years later and then drop the lead, win a Super Bowl as a Buccaneers wide receiver. One of the most integral pieces of that 2002 championship team. No, Peter?
Absolutely. And the last time the Cleveland Browns were a playoff contender, which, by the way, that staff had what? Nick Saban and also Kurt Ferentz. I mean, they had lots of coaches on there. Also, I believe Bill Belichick was a part of it.
Yes, sir.
On to the comments. Troy Polamalu says, stop. Tupac was the greatest of all time. I can agree.
Tupac and Michael
As
Jordan.
a rapper,
Ooh.
I think Biggie has something to say about that. And by the
Yeah.
way, Eminem and Lil Wayne, they want to know what you were talking about. And by the
M
way,
couldn't hold
how about-
Tupac's jock.
whoa,
strap.
whoa, whoa,
Well, hey,
whoa, whoa.
Tupac and LeBron
Yeah,
and
but
Michael
whatever.
Jordan, Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go Tupac LeBron
I'm going to go Tupac.
because Michael J has no street cred. He's got Jesus juice and a whole bunch of
Michael
allegations.
Hey,
And you know what? And my boy Snoop,
Oh, forget
he's got
it.
his gin and juice.
well, he does have his
Laid
laid back with his mind on
And
his
I don't
money
know
and
if
his
you guys
money on
knew this
his
or not,
mind.
but if Tupac had lived, they were going to change his name for identity reasons. People don't know this. Had he
Oh.
lived,
No,
they
he
were
was
gonna,
hard.
instead
His
of
mother-
Tupac Shakur, they were going to call him 5 shots for sure.
Oh God! And I tell you
Oh,
right now,
God.
his mother was a part of the Black Panther Party. So
That's what I'm saying. His DNA would not have been to change his name. He was outspoken.
Edward Gross says the Greek is always right. Repeat after Edward Gross. 1, 2, 3.
The Greek is always right.
All right. there we
Edward
go.
knows the stuff.
Troy
besides,
Polamalu says, as a
over-
wise man once said, always bet your money against Vegas. Okay. Troy Polamalu says Fournette is overrated. No wonder why the Jaguars got rid of him.
right?
wouldn't
Because
say
hold
that.
on, because he helped win a Super Bowl for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, rushing for over 300 rushing yards during that postseason. But he's overrated. You're an idiot. That's what it comes down to, dude. Seriously, you're a freaking idiot.
Almost got an F-bomb.
Almost got an F-bomb.
Someone-
Peter, the only way I can
someone
take
touched
you
the nerve.
seriously when you're doing that is you have to wear a Michael Jackson glove.
Yeah. Yes.
and show it.
And a sparkly jacket.
Yes. Can you do that?
You know, he'd look good
I
with
feel
a.
like anytime I want to talk, I feel like anytime Troy comments, I want to say, leave me alone. By the way, another Michael Jackson hit right there.
And Troy says Tupac is alive to conspiracy theories.
So is Biggie. So is Biggie.
Biggie. So is my father. I wish.
Right. I mean,
God, Dad, I love
so
you.
is my dad too. He's alive through me. Every Sunday I do
Yes,
this.
sir.
Shaking
Gentlemen,
That's our games.
last game of the week.
Oh,
The Chicago Bears are playing the New York Jets.
The Bears.
Justin Fields was limited throughout this week's practice after sustaining an injury during Sunday's loss to the Falcons. Everybody's seeing it. While the Bears coach, Matt Eberflus, said that he believes Fields' condition is getting better, he said his quarterback status for Sunday's game will be a game-time decision. That's code for saying, Jets, we're not telling you what we're doing. Look, he ain't playing. If he does, I'd be very, very shocked. They went ahead and activated Nathan Peterman yesterday off the practice squad and put him on the active roster. Guys, there's no way he can be playing. Right now, the Jets are 6.5-point favorites, and the total's 38 points. On the other side, Corey Davis, Quincy Williams, Nate Herbig, and Sauce Gardner do not have injury designation for Sundays after being appearing on the midweek injury report. Guys, this team is pretty healthy with the exception of defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins. He's out. Kenny Yabau's calf and doubtful's offensive tackle Dwayne Brown. They're questionable. Does Chicago even have a chance in this game, Ray?
I think Chicago has a chance. I think it's going to be defensive. I think that they bring in White because the kid's had he's had some success in his, and he may be the guy. New Jets may think he is the guy, and Robert Saleh may think he's the guy. But I still think that this is going to be a defensive game, and it comes down to, has Eberflus got enough of his defense into this team, and can the Bears control the ball at all? And then you're going to have the Jets defense on the other side playing quite a game. As crazy as it sounds, the only bet I take or position I take in this game, just so I can watch it with interest and still have the Bears winning. If the Bears win, it's got to be the under. It's got to turn out to be one of those kind of ugly games. The Bears can win. And if it gets to a scoring fest, I don't think the Bears can keep up with White, because that means White's getting off and he is the guy.
And out to Tampa Bay's very own meteorologist, Mr. Peter Blake.
Well, you got to keep it in the closet, and that's exactly what consequently the Jets did today or this week to Zach Wilson. I think Mike White gives them a better opportunity to win going forward. And say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, Quinnen Williams will give that Bears offensive line everything they can handle. I like the Jets in this game.
Andrew.
Yeah, I like the Jets as well. I think that the big thing, though, is going the over on the points there. I got it at 38.5. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Harry, because I did mine yesterday, my list here. But the big thing is Mike White does chuck the ball. He doesn't always chuck it to the right team. But either way, that's going to be points. And I'll say this, Mike White is not on audition to be the guy. He's on audition to be the backup guy. It's like I said on Peter's show there during the week, I think they're going to go after Jimmy Garoppolo in the postseason here. And I think they realize that Jimmy gets hurt. You need a good backup. So let's see what they got in Mike White as his backup.
Well, go ahead, Peter.
No, I was going to say, I think going forward, if Zach Wilson, his maturity level doesn't improve, they're definitely going to seriously consider going with the Joe Flacco or a Mike White and being that DLG quarterback, which means, not necessarily making all those throws, but making the throws, not turning over the ball, and depending on your defense and running the ball. That's what you got to do in order to play Jets football going forward.
And
back to the comments before I give you my prediction. Misador from the armpit of our country, Mr. Gary Indiana himself. Chicago needs to tank. How you doing, me? Love you, brother. Troy Polamalu says Peter is mad because his Plenty of Fish date Jessica from Clearwater never showed up.
And it wasn't a
I don't know about that, but that was probably your sister. So thanks.
How in the world does he know about Jessica, Pete?
I don't know. I guess it's his sister. Like I said, I date his whole family. That's why
there's a Jessica
all the time.
There was a Jessica.
I did in every county. This stud.
I know. I'm not kidding.
I date his mom. And I also
He
date.
lives close
Wait,
to
you
a
dated
town-
my mom? It's my mom's birthday today. How's he talking
Happy
about
birthday. I'm going to date your mom, but I dated his mom and his sister. That's why he's so
Oh, my
upset all the
God.
time.
Oh, now he says he wouldn't date my mom. What's the matter with my mom, Pete?
Yeah,
really.
Said I
Wow.
would date your
It's
mom.
her birthday,
Happy
damn it.
birthday to your mom.
Thank
Shut
you,
up,
Pete.
Ray. You're an idiot.
Going back to the predictions of the Chicago Bear game, and go ahead and give you a break it down for the best year that I possibly can. I think I said that with a little bit of a tongue twist.
did.
Chicago secondary is going to be just fine in this game. They're going to have their hands full because they're just not going to quite get that pass rush. So look for Chicago to blitz in this game often and early to go ahead and try to rattle a very young quarterback in Mike White. Yes, he's going to try to sling the ball all over the place. The difference is going to be is New York's going to be able to run this football. Okay. And they're going to set up that play action pass. Let's go back about 4 or 5 weeks ago when the Bears were playing the Giants, when the Giants were completely one-dimensional, and Chicago bid on that naked bootleg how many times? I don't know, 8. It's unreal. The Jets are just going to overmatch this team, unfortunately, Chicago fans. I have the Jets winning this game big. If you wait just before game time, you will get 7 points, Chicago, if you like the Bears. I'm telling you to stay away from this game. However, with that being said, bet the over 38 in this game.
I'm going to put myself way out on a line here, and I'm going to give you a final score. Bears by and I know me says they should tank, but they got cap space. Bears 19, Jets 16.
Wow, so you're like the under.
That would be your 35 point. That would be your under on
I
that.
actually like the over in this game. He's usually I'm going against completely what I normally say.
Yeah,
My wife's
no.
kind of looking over at me going, but they're under 40. Yes, I know that. But in this game, I got a funny feeling that, look, man, Chicago's just, they're not going to be able to play defense in this game. They just can't. Mike White is going to look like Joe Montana. in
What's
this
the
game.
weather like there in New York? That's what I want to know.
Who cares?
What is it,
On to
Pete?
Peter.
Joe Montana. Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
Out to Peter. What's the weather in New York today, Pete?
I have no idea what the weather in New York is today.
I'll give it to you right now.
I'm looking it up. Make sure you look up East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's right. It's not New York. It's New Jersey.
Oh, guys, 100% chance of rain from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock,
Yep.
and it's 49 degrees, 50 for a high. It's on that crappy field, so you won't have Soldier Field to give those Bears the advantage they had in Week 1 against those 49ers.
Where they can run and run and run and run.
and
and
the
run.
Bears can play that
It's good.
Bob Papa Hallis
there's going to be a
ball.
lot of real sloppy
I still like
play.
the Bears. I'm
What's
taking
the
the Bears,
over-
Jamie, so we got something to root for.
What's the over/under on MCL and ACL injuries in that turf?
I'm going to say
Oh.
2.
No,
God
well, it's
willing, they're out
slippery
for the Bears.
Because it's slippery wet, then it's less because it's the grip that rips.
Andrew
Yeah.
from Two Giant Goofballs, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, so Two Giant Goofballs available on all podcast platforms there. Of course, also on social media. So we're on there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
And that's it.
That's what. Want some more? Want some
You
more?
got any more?
Andrew, thank you
Good
so
to see
much.
you, brother.
Thanks for showing up on the over-under. Go ahead and hang out in the back room for a minute. Peter,
Yes.
the man in the mirror. How are you, my brother?
Doing great. Hopefully somebody is watching me after the Brown game tonight. Of course, for your post-game edition on
Yes,
I Love
sir.
St. Pete, The Hub, and Amped Up Sports. And, of course, Monday and Wednesday nights for the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. 3 things. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time.
It's glove time.
Woo! We sound like that was an AWE wrestling
That
intro.
was.
What
It's
time
your
is it?
time. Have a great
What
day.
time
Hey, take
is
care,
it?
Peter. Thank you. Hang out in the back room. Ray, can you believe it?
Just the two of you. Always set me up with that for that reason.
Yes, I
You
do.
like that singing voice, brother. Thanks for having me today. I got to
love
go
it.
back down to Sarasota and pick up my son. Hope that they weren't creamed in the paintball contest against the Special Forces guys from Georgia, but we'll go see.
And just for everybody up in our Chicago platforms that are watching us, especially around the
1916
Midwest,
Bears.
I just want to let you know it's 83 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and it's beautiful out. How do you like me now, me? Get it? How do you like me now, me?
Was that a Michael Jackson reference?
No, Misador.
I know. Let's think of a Michael Jackson reference. Beat it, me.
I don't know, man.
Wait, did we use beat it already?
Ray,
Thanks, brother.
any final thoughts?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah. Bears, Bucks, nasty game, but man, 100% rain all through the day. There's going to be a lot of slip in there and in MetLife Stadium. I like this to be a low scoring affair. We'll see.
I'm Harry the Greek, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Thank you so much to Peter Blake from the Sports Web and from a giant goofball himself, Mr. Andrew Davis. You're getting the hottest picks around the National Football League. We're on fire this week. 10-1 on my underdog picks so far for the year. Take them. Hope you're making a whole bunch of money. But as I always say, keep your bets low and your returns high. Thanks for tuning into the Over Under. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day, everybody.